region. Some say the leaders have failed to do right for one and for all. When there is an imbalance of the scale, then the writing is on the wall. If you ignore the plight of the people, well, the devil shall intervene. It's only divine intervention. I hope you know what I mean. Well, is it true that God is a tree? With all these crimes and sweet la Trinity? No, no. The hills are alive in a different way. And is it true we have all this money in this land of so much poverty? No, no. The Lord is my shepherd, comfort me, yeah. Through the powers that be, hear the cries of the people you see. All this wealth and nothing for we. No, 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 no. Because of living is too high. This little money in the world can't buy. Oh my, oh my. Why? There must be a way. There must be a way. There must be a way to help the people today. I say there must be a way. There must be a way. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. From Genesis to Revelation, in my Father's house around many mansions, to take care of 1.3 million natural resources, he made provision to feed this nation. Look, we have oil and gas, rich lake and Mars, on and Calypso, Chucky and Limbo. When there is no property, then would decline naturally, then we could live in harmony. My holy Trinity, I love you, mama. I love you, mommy, yeah. My thank you. Could we rise again as a nation?
What do you mean, could we rise again as a nation?
Okay, because the state of the country.
What do you mean by the state of the country? I don't understand that. Explain me.
Right, the country have plenty money.
Plenty money?
Yeah.
How you know that? So you have to tell me I have a child. Tell me now. How you know that? Gentlemen, thank you for the day. I can't really understand that.
Oh mama, oh yo yo yo, the nation is bending, prophecy unfolding, judgment incoming. I love you still, mommy. When will it end? Tell me, how did we come this way? Oh my Trinidad and Tobago. Whilst the nation still hope and pray, the devil busy, I say, oh my Trinidad and Tobago. Oh no, no, I'm feeling the pain for you, mama. Revelation strikes at your corner. Still we are holding on. Your children have lost their way, fighting for survival each day. Oh no, no, going from dawn till dawn. What is happening to my country? Every day is a sacrifice. Blood flowing like water daily. Lives could be lost at any price. The anthem is now a whisper. Some don't care to stand when it plays. The lawless is now in control, so the good folks going away. Oh, my Trinity, strange signs all around we have. The hills are alive in a different way. Your babies are dying, brutally I'm seeing here. Would we rise again, comfortably? Yeah. Oh, the mighty dollar, now cast a spell of uncertainty. Oh, my Trinidad and Tobago. You see, when the rich is getting Trinidad must remain empty. Oh my Trinidad, no that and Tobago. I say, oh no, people balling for pain and hunger, inflation, cost of living higher, can't get no daily bread. So the youth them on top the hill, somehow their bread basket don't fill. Oh no, so they turn to crime instead. The arms of the state disappointed, still their salaries are daunted. Large increase in the fiscal budgets, oil money reaching all-time high. Do I know just for so much of money when the hospitals are in need? Poor people at everyone's mercy, so the hill reacting indeed. Oh no, yeah, the people cry, yeah. The hills are alive in a different way. Them who take in the money must pay for it dearly one day. Would we rise again come what may? Yeah. How could we truly excel in the midst of all this suffering? Oh my Trinidad, no. And Tobago. Tell me, like shadows say poverty is hell, so it seems like the devil is king. Oh my Trinidad, and Tobago. No. Cocaine and guns in the heart of the ghetto is what we sow, we shall reap tomorrow. Who are we going to blame? Even school children doing crime, well that is a sign of the time. Oh my lord, have we now gone insane? Whilst we kill we own one by one, skyscrapers going up in town, Chinese laborers at the core. This new city some shall see no more. So we have to hold on to see them 10 days and must to get along, scraping the bottom of the barrel with all this money in town. My Lord, the hills are alive in a different way. You have to do more for the people, better wages to ease the struggle, yeah. Could we rise again come what may, yeah. In this abundance of wealth, still the poor people cannot cope. Oh my Trinidad and Tobago, it is a stark reality, so much have given up hope. Oh my Trinidad and Tobago. Oh no. Some turn to fragrance in the city, homeless children begging have mercy, Lord. Child abuse have risen again. Look like Jean and Dinah come back in tongue. The girls and them singing the song. To survive by any means necessary, dignity gone down the jail. Some say the leaders have failed to do right for one and for all. When there is an imbalance of the scale, then the writing is on the wall. If you ignore the plight of the people, well the devil shall intervene. It's only divine intervention. I hope you know what I mean. Well, is it true that God is a tree? With all these crimes and sweet Trinity, no. The hills are alive in a different way. And is it true we have all this money in this land of so much poverty? No. The Lord is my shepherd, come what may, yeah. To you the powers that be, hear the cries of the people you see. All this wealth and nothing for we. No. Because of living is too high. The little money in the poor can't buy. Oh my, why? There must be a way. To help the people today, I say. There must be a way. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. From Genesis to Revelation, in my Father's house are around many mansions. To take care of 1.3 million natural resources, he made provision to feed this nation. Look, we have oil and gas, it's lake and mass, and so choppy and limbo. When there is no one profit, and what we find at Chucky, then we could live in harmony. My whole relation is here. I love you. I love you, mama. I love you, mommy. Mommy, yeah. My thank you.
The journey of people is to walk with their children and leave them behind them more comfortable than they walk.
Bring down the power of love, I say. Bring down the power. The power of love, I say, is the greatest power. Stop hell and damnation. Bring down the power. Love to heal a nation is the greatest power. A wind of destruction is blowing over this land. And now the earth is a trembling with man's oppression of man. Now the time comes to sit down and rediscover what's life. Show the world the true meaning of real love power, not strife. Bring down the power of love, I say. The power of love, I say, is the greatest power. Stop hell and damnation. Love to heal a nation. Put a hand on the fire and cleanse the wicked. Right now. All of them who does worship, greed and vanity must bow. Unity is the banner, so come together. I say. Each day. Bring down the power of love, I say. The power of love, I say, is the greatest power. Stop hell and damnation. Love to heal a nation. So rejoice in a rhythm of celebration. Come on. Lift your voice with a feeling of satisfaction.
Nice, nice. Lennox Smith.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Pleasant morning to you, my friend. Are you hearing me loud and clear?
Loud and clear, loud and clear.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Well, of course, another day in Trinidad and Tobago, of course, and more in intrigue, and we expect that that is not uncommon. Having regard to the tragedy that is the PNM under a man called Keith Christopher Rowley that claimed boastfully to be so accurate, so knowledgeable about government and governance and democracy, and what he has turned out to be is a total totalitarian
on steroids, and at the same time attempting to hoodwink the population by way of defense, or put another way, in a what I consider to be a futile excuse for incompetence, impotence, and the inability to manage the affairs of Trinidad and Tobago. Never before have this country witnessed the collapse of an administration in such a short space of time, and concomitant with that is the economy itself, the unraveling of the social fabric, the moral and ethical standards that we would have been subjected to as young people, being, of course, indoctrinated into the socio-economic and psycho-cultural norms of Trinidad and Tobago. Never before. And we cannot wait to, of course, see the backs of these individuals, but at the same time, knowing full well that they have to pay the price. Of course, they are going to resist, as we are seeing. They are going to claim that that is not so. They are going to claim that, as we have seen, of course, in recent times with the Dial Singh incident. I was just having a read of it, and it appears that a number of moving parts are associated with this incident. First and foremost is that the constituency executive, PNM, of course, are claiming that there's a fake profile, a group calling itself the constituency page of the PNM in St. Joseph, and they are claiming it is not them. And then, of course, there was, of course, a response by a very prominent lawyer, Lala, I believe it was, who said, well, listen, you're getting a taste of that which you have implemented. We were saying that, I am paraphrasing, however. He didn't say it that way, but I mean, the essence of it is, in fact, that. And then, of course, they are claiming that they are in full support of Dial Singh. I don't know why would they want to say full support when, in fact, they should be condemning, of course, not just the action, but attempting, of course, to tell the government, of which Dial Singh is a part, to, of course, hasten calling the elections. There could be no other remedy for Trinidad and Tobago. The stage has been, or the spate, or the situation has long passed for, of course, compromise or implementing measures, because there was a whole 9 years so to do. And in those 9 years, so far, what we have seen is decadence, collapse, deterioration of our circumstance, and indeed pain, ache, agony, and distress for Trinidad and Tobago across the board. The other issue, of course, that is making the headlines is that the tutor has withdrawn have instructed their teachers to remove themselves from the St. George's High School secondary school. And of course, there is recrimination now between tutor and the Ministry of Education. The tutor accusing the Ministry of Education of propaganda, showmanship, fanfareism, generating a delusion. But of course, our concern will be at what price, at what cost. $10 million to repair a roof. Of course, the ministry is saying that the recent flooding has no connection to the roof. Well, that is questionable. Of course, the tutor's response is yes, there is a nexus. That is to say, the repaired roof, water would have come through the gutterings, but where the gutterings end up, meaning that the water that would have been collected by these gutterings would have end up is so much. The volume is so much coming out from the roof that it would have generated a backflow, and therefore the irrigation, if you want to call it that, the planning of the irrigation or the drainage of the compound clearly was not one that was adequately contemplated or work done, and as a consequence of the flood. So we're having these, of course, tit for tat and, of course, recriminations across the board. But at the end of the day, who are suffering? These students. That is the important thing. The students' education. We see them climbing on chairs, etc., in order to, of course, avoid the flood. And more than that, the expense of their parents, because clearly, when their shoes are damaged, at least it means more than or faster than they would have anticipated. It means, therefore, there's an additional cost to parents to get their children to school. So quite a lot of information coming out there that, of course, is of deep concern. Of course, the Minister of Youth, he was in Tobago and, of course, signed a MOU, a Memorandum of Understanding with the Tobago House of Assembly Secretary for Youth, indicating that they would be sharing information and in that atmosphere, young people will be the beneficiary thereof, both in Tobago and in Trinidad. Of course, having regard to the general performance of this administration is another exercise, I think, in propaganda, another exercise in public relations, poor as it is. But I caution, of course, the Tobago House of Assembly, do not be lured. They must be able to be more, there must be much more tangible input by the Ministry of Youth. I am saying financial input I'm talking about. A memorandum of understanding is exactly that. We are commitment to cooperate as far as the details and the information that we have available to us. We want to know that just not the sharing of information, but all of the personnel, the technology, the financial wherewithal to make it happen in the interest of Tobago. I don't think that the Tobagonians are stupid. I don't think that they will be lured, but if they see an opportunity to get some additional resources for the Tobagonian youths in particular, I have no difficulty, and I'm sure that they would have assess that as well as an opportunity for Tobagonian youths to, of course, benefit from. I'm sure as well that if it turns out to be a piece of Mama Guy, as is so stereotypical of this administration, they will, of course, inform the public and the Tobagonian public in particular, in order, of course, to let them know that is another gesture in futility and promotion of their own political stocks, if you want to call it that, and their viability or electability in Tobago. Of course, God knows that Trinidad needs much more than what Tobago would require, and one would have thought that focus would have been in Trinidad in particular, because if there's a Ministry of Youth there in Tobago, then I would expect that signing a memorandum of understanding only tells me that the central government has its eye trained on those two seats for the national elections to come. That is inevitable. And of course, I cannot overemphasize that if Dr. Rowley would engage in the kind of anti-democratic conduct, the anti, or should I say, subverting the electoral process as Maduro has done, having, of course, lost the elections and want to stay in office because he has friends in the military and police and so on. And I'm referring here to Dr. Rowley as well. I'm saying that he will be assassinated because there are those in the society who has, in spite of their subterranean and the harm that they put the pain they put the population through, they have a sense of justice. And if it is that Dr. Rowley attempts, having lost the election, and I'm saying here lost, meaning that it must be clear, it must be categoric, it must be pellucid, just as we have seen in Venezuela, then of course he has another thing coming. Of course, what are the signs? Well, we have seen, of course, Heinz run out of Beatum. We have seen, of course, not Dialsing, he's the recent one, but we have seen, of course, Imbert's son being attack, and of course his cell phone was recovered in certain quarters in the society. We have seen, of course, recently Dial Singh himself being robbed, and the question is, of course, and I continue to ask whether or not he was directly targeted, meaning that the people who were aware, his assailants who were aware that he was the Minister of Health. And that is very troubling. And I suspect that the police will be looking into that aspect of it as well, to find out whether it was a crime of opportunity or was it a crime deliberated to send a message way beyond, of course, the actual robbery. That being as it may, let me go straight, of course, to the newspaper. As I said, the THA, Youth Development Ministry, to sign MOU, and that is, as I mentioned earlier, point 14, taxi drivers want a CNG in the borough. So, of course, the place where most of our carbon resource would have either come from in the heydays or still is coming from, in spite of the closing down of Petrotrin and the plunging of that part of the society or the community into a state of poverty, pain, agony, and distress, and notwithstanding unemployment. Here it is, of course, that they do not have a CNG station. Of course, I was very taken aback by the fact that on its website, talking about the institution that is responsible for the construction of these facilities. It has to be NP in this particular case. They said that there is supposed to be a plant in Point Fortin, but that was closed down some time ago. But that piece of information is still on their website. I would advise them to, of course, if you are not or you have no intention of constructing one, please take down that, because it is misinformation. And I want to thank, of course, the journalists for, of course, inquiring. I suppose they have gotten the message from the ground reporter that you do your research and that you can talk without fear of contradiction and or repercussions that are usually associated with persons who deliver misinformation and disinformation, particularly at the level of the media. But of course, we understand our role as the fourth pillar, as the fourth bastion of this, what I consider to be fundamentally tripartite governmental structure inherited from the Westminster system. And that is to say, the separate and distinct role of the executive, meaning the elected government, or put another way, the elected party that would have formed the government with its majority, with a majority in the parliament. And of course, it would include the opposition, and then of course we have the legislature, where of course the opposition and the government would be addressing matters of a legislative nature, the creation of laws, and then of course we have the other arm of government, which of course is the judiciary, to monitor all of the above. And then of course we have a what I consider to be fourth estate, which is we included, I'm talking about the media, to of course manage, superintend, and keep hopefully, as is its responsibility, to keep them in line and to share with the population, the electorate, the citizenry, what is happening at all of those respective levels. That being as it may, Chaguanas Borough Corporation in breach of SRP's contract. Well, this is a matter that was recently concluded in the courts, and it was agreed. I don't know if there is an appeal pending, but the courts has agreed that SRPs that was associated with the Chaguanas Borough Council, their contract was breached by the non-payment of certain funds that had accrued to them. But the Chaguanas Borough was saying, as part of the argument, that they weren't responsible. Well, of course, the court has taken a different view. Whether it's going to be appealed is a different story. I understand that Anand Ramlogan would have been, of course, the the council or the lawyer of choice for the borough council. And if I understand this very, what I consider to be potent and aggressive legal advocate, you may well be hearing about an appeal. Judge questions religious leaders being left out of a law term opening. I find that very distressing, frankly, that the religious groups in the society will be left out. I understand that it's not that they are totally left out. It's just that they are preferred, should I say, people of the cloth to, of course, administer the spiritual food for such an event. That will, of course, occur tomorrow at Napa, and there will be, of course, a sort of march past, if you want to call it that, around Memorial Park before they enter Napa, and of course, signaling the advent or the beginning of the new law term. So that is something to look at. Not one judge, but I think more than one judge. But of course, Andy's favorite judge would have led the charge in that regard, questioning why it is that because we are an ecumenical or could I say a multi-religious society, why certain selected members of the cloth were chosen as opposed to others. Of course, there is an argument counter to that, to say to leave that part of it, that part of the ceremonial opening, leave that part out all entirely, because it is too divisive. I cannot see how it is divisive. Trinidad and Tobago is a cosmopolitan country, a multi-religious country, and we have a deep respect for our spiritual values, and to suggest that you should leave it out from a very significant, should I say, aspect of our societal development and action and interaction. I think that is purely myopic, frankly. Budget Day, of course, is on September 30th. Yes, at the end of this month. 30 days have September. Notice that youths, I want you to know that, because if you get a maths question on the subject of the months of the year, I'm sure that these days I have not seen it happen. When I was in the system, I would, of course, try to, like a recital, 30 days have September, April, June, and November. All the rest of 31, except in February alone, which has, of course, 28 and 29 days, 28 days normally, and 29 days each leap year. And of course, because the year is made up of 365 and a quarter days, it means that every 4 years, the quarter days is added up. That is why you get a leap year of 29 days in February. That might be a piece of information that most people may want to either be revised upon, or at least new information that they can now put in their arsenal of having to, of course, address issues in Trinidad and Tobago. I'm talking here because if you have a maths question on the question of months of the year, and you then say, well, of course, the person had food, for example, in September, all of September, and then, of course, also had lunch all of August. How many days in all, the person would have had lunch? And of course, if you don't know 30 days as September, then of course you would be wrong, because you might be of the view that every month in the year has 31 days. It means therefore you would have been short by one, because August would have had 30 days, have September, April, June, and November, all the rest have 31. So therefore, August would have had 31 days, and your sum or your answer would have been wrong. So just give a trifle there. Princess Strongboy to be charged with murdering a fellow resident, 33. So that's a very another piece of bad news for Trinidad and Tobago. the Russian roulette environment in which we live as far as crime and criminality is concerned. Judges question religious leaders being left out. Right, okay, I said that already. A property tax dilemma, we read that yesterday. Half-naked man found on pavement in San Fernando dies at hospital. But you have these incidents, far too many not to be concerned. I'm trying to get to the one with the Alsing as quickly as possible. Pastor's son among teens killed by cops. This is an incident in Tobago. St. George's teachers, yes, walk out. Tutor slams the ministry for fanfare PR gimmick. Well, of course, and expensive gimmick at that, $10 million. DCPs, yes, warning after the Alsing's robbery. We are coming for you. Well, the latest on that is that I think 2 persons would have been held in St. Paul Street. Not surprising for me, St. Paul Street, not surprising in the context of other matters such as home invasions and so on. When if the people are not caught, but when they are, usually, of course, is some East Port of Spain, Laventil, and environs. The assailants or the suspects are the perpetrators would be found. And I am saying so because there is a need for greater concentration of resources into these communities. Not that I am boasting of being aware, but of course, one of the objectives of a true community activist or social intervener is to know your material, to know. You have a job to know, just as the police has a job to know who are the potential and real perpetrators by profiling, etc. Sometimes you are wrong. But of course, I had predicted that if you look at the sequence of unrelenting home invasions, you would see once they get caught, you will see the car abandoned somewhere closer to East Port of Spain or Laventil, or some part of Laventil, as the case may be. So I am not surprised of that the investigation led to St. Paul Street, which is part and parcel of East Port of Spain, and 2 suspects would have been held. They said that the car would have been used, that vehicle would have been used in that particular assault on the Alsing. Of course, I raised the question as well, and I think I put up something from the corridor transformation this morning and last night as to whether or not you believe that the assailants would have known personally the Alsing, and therefore, if that is the case, if that is the conclusion, and if that is in fact the case, it means therefore this government is in extreme physical harm and danger. I suppose our only response will be to increase his already over lopsided security detail. I suppose it might be security for every one of his ministers. Well, of course, he could solve the problem very easily. Call the blasted election. That's all. And then all of that will be solved. That's all. But no, the greed for power and, of course, inability to manage the affairs of the country, it looms large, and therefore that will take precedent over, of course, their patriotic and civil and political duty to call an election so that this situation can be resolved as expeditiously as possible or quickly as possible. Powerful. Now, what is saying here, Dre, Russ, guy? No, I don't want to go into sports as such. I just want to deal with the other issues. Students scamper from flood at St. George's College. So that's another one. Imber new ways to pay property tax in the works. I'm sure we will be regaled with, of course, these revelations when the budget would have been announced. Not the budget itself, but being read. The announcement is that it will be on the 30th of this month, the last day of this month. But I'm sure that we will be getting information, a little more information as far as that is concerned. in terms of ways of paying the property tax. Of course, he did give, in response to opposition's question in the parliament, he did, of course, give an indication as to some of the mechanisms that could be used for the payment of property tax. And I want to say, I'm certain that it was a knee-jerk response from the concerns that people having raw cash to descend on these revenue collection offices, whether in Port of Spain or elsewhere, and being soft targets for the bandits that clearly, again, a myopic government did not think of, in spite of the reality of the prevalence of the commission of crimes, of robberies, and against the person. So it's only the opposition thought of it and therefore brought it out so that we can benefit from being at least extremely more careful, because what the government has done is expose, of course, these property owners who are willing, of course, to pay the that draconian tax, that tax that they say they will never implement as a government. Rowley said that back in 2015, but has of course betrayed that promise and betrayed the people in that context, and therefore another case for expeditious or immediate calling of the 2025 elections in 2024. And no one would, of course, be averse to that position. So when these great Lara likes TKR's chances, likes TKR's chances in CPL, well, of course, I understand there is a biography as well on a book that is being promoted involving the life of Brian Lara, I think, from a British perspective. So that is something we can look at. Government owes apology to Superior. But let me just look at this. This Superior, I know a Calypsonian, but it could be a company as well. So let me make sure that it seems this is a Calypso. And of course, this is a letter from retired history teacher, Calypso researcher. All right, okay. And he's saying that government owes apology to Superior. And he says, of course, as I sat at Napa on Saturday the 16th celebrating the life of legendary musician and band leader Roy Cape, alongside hundreds of others, I could not help but ask, why was Calypsonian Superior not afforded a similar honor when he died in November 2018? All right, so it is clear that it's not a company we're talking about, but the late Superior. For those who may have forgotten, Lord Superior's funeral was carded to take place at Napa, but at the last minute, permission was rescinded. Wow. As a result, Superior's wife, Dr. Janet Stanley Macano, and the family, in the midst of their grief and sorrow, had to undergo tremendous pressure to organize an alternative venue at the family home, yes, in Dorinstown Gardens, Degomartin, at the penultimate moment. That's the moment just before the designated funeral activity. The reason given was that Napa was reserved for state funerals, according to Nyan Gusby Dolly, Minister, of course, of Culture at the time and the Arts in December 2018. It is a performing space, and as you would be aware, the only funerals that we had at Napa would have been for the former Prime Minister of the country, Patrick Manning, and the former President Arthur N.R. Robinson, while the body of former President George Maxwell Richards lay in state in the venue in January 2018. Having a funeral at Napa is not strictly encouraged, as there are a number of other venues in Port Spain. Despite this explanation, Roy Cape's funeral service took place at Napa in a manner befitting a cultural icon, while both Ken, Professor Fillmore, and Black Stalin had their funerals at Sapa, the equivalent of Napa in San Fernando. So the argument advanced by the government clearly is flawed. I don't think I need to go further. It's about three or four more paragraphs. I think we get the gist of this superior article, which of course refers to the late superior and the fact that he was not given the opportunity to be, as part of his funeral arrangements, to be at Napa. Tobago Night Riders, a decade of excellence. Well, that has to do with sports, I'm sure. Ministry of Youth Development and National Service. What's that about? I think there's an article with respect to that. Well, it is election season, and even though Dr. Rowley and his team hypocritically would have, of course, decry, denounce, would have been averse, opposed to any last minute and just before general election, any flurry of activities to deliver to the people, but only when they are in opposition. But when they are in government, it is right and proper. But when they are in opposition, it is wrong and immoral. I say, hollow the tail. Hollow the tail. Yes, United Way Trinidad and Tobago, a day of caring 2024. Well, of course, the altruists and the persons who are engaged, of course, in social work in Trinidad and Tobago, the NGOs and those persons who, of their own volition and their own vision, would have cared for the underprivileged and the vulnerable in the society. I think this is a tribute to you, and you should, of course, feel prouder that there is a recognition of persons like that. And I include myself in it. All of my adult life, I have been, of course, an advocate for the improvement of circumstances in places like East Port of Spain, Laventille, Beetham, Sealats, and father a field mover, etc. And I want, of course, on this occasion, one time to commend Dr. Khalid for his continued involvement in the Missy Mover area. I want to, of course, acknowledge my good friend Gart Christopher, who was the victim of the callous conduct of members of this government, senior ones at that, while Hines would have stood idly by and see the government stymied and take over his program in movement for the youths and provide, I'm sure, a tremendous expense to him. What may be a tremendous expense for him may not be a tremendous expense for fellows like Hines and Day. But $20,000 is a tremendous expense for persons like us in the society, in the community. For Hines and Day, that is just chicken feed, as the saying goes. But of course, we have seen them in a very reckless, brutal, and profligate way spend hundreds of millions, billions, friends, family, and associates. And don't tell me you don't understand what I'm saying, because Balizé House is there. From a broken party owing over $5 million in 2015 to the construction of a concrete, steel, and mortar monstrosity called Balizé House. Don't tell me you don't know. And don't tell me you don't know that over 500 recusals after the guttering or the evisceration of the procurement legislation, so that short young brother could have moved a simple, unknown financial institution to one of what? A merchant bank. Having gotten, of course, billions of contractual monies, our money, to facilitate that. I am not talking yet, I ain't reached yet Al-Rawi and his family, he himself directly and his family. With respect, of course, to whether it be number one or number three. Yes, you know where. Or whether it be that Barataria facility, IQA, where the Ministry of Finance is concocting, is hatching, is devious attempt to deliver this property tax blow to the population. Yeah, that is where they are. That is where they are. Yeah, if you have to go and make a complaint, that is where you have to go, in Barataria. Well, I want to tell you that the building that is happening in is Al-Rari's extended family. Yeah, own. Understand that. And it's about them as they not pilfer. Pilfer is too simple or too easy a word. They have raided the treasury of Trinidad and Tobago, directly and indirectly, in order to satisfy their very, what I consider to be, egregious appetite for wealth, fame, a fortune, and rubbing shoulders with the shakers and movers in the society, claiming to be minister and ministers and prime minister. Let's not waste time with that. Newsday in Independence Day supplement is out, people. Yes, indeed. Point 14 man goes on trial for robbery, kidnapping. Palmis businessman on bail for fraud. Princess Tong boy to be charged with murdering a fellow resident. Well, we passed that already. Health Minister Rob of Bira, it is called. Police have 2 suspects. Education Ministry, no link between St. George's flooding and repairs. Yeah, they are quick to do that. $10 million. But of course, the tutor, the representative entity for teachers, is of a contrary view, as I have preliminarily indicated earlier. Classes resume at Palmyra SDMS Hindu School. Wonder for what reason. Let's take a look at that particular article, because I'm a stickler for education. I happen to believe, like Kamala Prasad Bisesa, that education is a great deliverer, an emancipator, and then of course it could make you travel all over the place through books, etc. And these days, of course, online, digital material, and you don't have to move a place. You just have to Google it, and you will be educated. Let me just read that article. Classes resume at the Palmyra SDMS Hindu School. And what is saying? 2 weeks after a rat infestation at the Palmyra. What again? What again? At the Palmyra Sanatan Dharma Mahasabha Hindu School, the shut down classes. Permission has been given for the school's physical reopening. A media release on September 17th from SDMS Secretary General Vijay Maharaj said the Office of the County Medical Officer of Health, County Victoria, had given permission with immediate effect. The statement recalled that the rodent infestation was detected when the school reopened on September 2nd. The school was granted permission to have online classes. The SDMS Board of Education undertook remedial works, which were completed in 1 week, covering all financial costs, the statement said. Rent-to-Kill, a private pest control company, visited the school to ensure no reinfestation prior to reopening, the end of the exercise. But I want to thank the Real Media team for highlighting, I think it's Mount Hope yesterday, and flooding as well in that school. But more significantly, I was looking to see whether or not it was the $10 million brand new repaired roof at St. George's, but it wasn't. And and it's not very often that we are proven wrong, but I was wrong on this occasion. My initial contemplation was that it was St. George's, but it turned out to be, I think, Mount Hope. But the roof leaking, and I saw some pictures as well of the outside of the school, the outer walls, the outer perimeter of the school. And boy, oh boy, it looked like a place maybe you can see bomb out somewhere in Syria or on the Gaza Strip. Yes, that is how horrible it looks. I want to commend, of course, the parents and the teachers in that particular school that have, in spite of its dilapidated and increasingly terrible physical state, I understand the toilets as well, that they continue, of course, to function or deliver education, and the parents are sending their children to receive education. The Ministry of Education has made an announcement that was one of the schools carded for repair. The term has opened, and clearly no action was taken during the course of the long, some say summer, I prefer to say August holiday. Yes, but suddenly a contractor has been, of course, identified for the construction. Is it that they are going to now disrupt classes in order to effect the extensive work that is now required, and therefore disrupting classes and the children's education? We wait to see how that pans out, because, of course, as per usual, it's always some kind of knee-jerk response, because the public is now aware, and therefore another cog in the high level of incompetence, impotence, and the inability to manage the affairs of the country. But instead, we are seeing ministers and their friends and family and lackeys of the PNM stride with a level of gourmandization, meaning greediness, and lining their pockets, inclusive of the Prime Minister, of course, unmerited, as they promote, of course, not not meritocracy, but the opposite of meritocracy. Yes, indeed, people, that is what is purporting to be government and governance and managing our affairs in our interests has morphed into the most despicable display of incompetence, greed, criminal behavior, malfeasance and misfeasance, public display of abuse of office, and misbehavior in public office. All of the latter, 4 or 5, criminal behavior, subjected to criminal, therefore, investigations. And that is an imperative of the next UNC under Kamala Prasad Bisesa administration. They must engage. They are going to, of course, cry foul, as we see in Tobago now, when an incident that they believe can give them political currency to try to castigate and malign the existing or contemporary or incumbent administration in Tobago. We are seeing it on a daily basis as they try to absolve themselves and sanitize themselves, when in fact what the THA would have inherited, as indeed Kamala Prasad Bisesa and the UNC would inherit, are the repercussions of mismanagement, corruption, nepotism, and cronyism that will require time to be resolved. Of course, when in opposition, the PNM will talk about incompetence and all of that. You see, history is the best teacher, people. And we saw it with the NAR, when they were in office. The PNM ran the country to almost bankruptcy, 2 months of imports in the treasury, and they had to run to the IMF, the institution, the international institution of last resort, in order to bail out Trinidad and Tobago from the quagmire, the decadence, the impoverishment that was imposed by the previous PNM administration. And while there, and I'm saying so without fear of contradiction, because the major beneficiary of that incident, the 1990 attempted coup, would have been the very PNM. And therefore, one can make the inescapable conclusion that they would have been, at minimum, rooting, encouraging, and supporting, as the evidence would have shown. As the evidence would have shown. But they will, of course, claim that it's unfair. They will claim that it's not so. Well, we know them. We see how Rowley would operate. When, of course, the learned and iconic, I want to say, yes, even now that he's alive, so let me say it now, because of the kind of work that he has put in the medical field, sorry, not the medical field, but in the legal field, and of course the jurisprudence in this country and its contribution. I want to say Alan Ramlogan and Ramdeen, when they were charged, they were smiling, Rowley and they, to both sides of their ears, like the story with Big Mouth. Yeah, laughing and drooling over the prospect that they get a big fish. Yes, only to find out that they orchestrated it. And during that period of trauma and embarrassment to, of course, Alan Ramlogan and Ramdeen, having been charged, with the charges of misbehavior in public office and kickbacks, etc. And Rowley was up and down the country, not saying that only that the big fish they caught. No, it wasn't sufficient. He was drooling. He was in a state of elation to witness, not then knowing that he was the orchestrator thereof, but to witness the humiliation and demise of
Lennox
these two
Smith.
gentlemen.
Yes, man. Good morning to you. What I want to do before the 8 o'clock hour is just to play a video there with a blogger supporting Kamala Prasad Bissessa, the opposition leader, on her last statement out towards Diyal Singh, whereby is saying that a lot of people get fake vaccines or something, so that the vaccines wasn't good. So let me just play that there, and then we will be starting right after this video.
Yeah, but because I had to.
The Ground Report with Mikey K, Andy Williams, and Lennox Smith.
Bang, bang, bang.
Trinidad Backward Again is a present issue that I saw in the Trinidad Express. I think I need to talk to you about, and I'm going to back on this one. There will be no retraction or apology from opposition leader Kamala Sese over her jab commitment. On Thursday, Diyal Singh issued a release condemning Mrs. Sese for saying at the UNC meeting that jab were fake and they were distributed to hundreds of thousands of people during the pandemic, and he called her to retract the statement. Now, there's an MP, Ragbeh, who's a medical doctor. He stated that while it's Mrs. Sese's right to criticize government policies, those criticisms must be grounded in facts, reason, and logic. So we look at facts, reason, and logic. The development of effective health policy requires honesty and adherence to scientific truth, not political maneuvering. So we look at the scientific truth as well. He said the jabs distributed to the people of Trinidad and Tobago were rigorously tested when, where, and certified as by international health organizations, including the WHO, nobody trusts anymore, and PAHO, which has got a bad rap. Of course, Ragbeh's colleague, former government minister Tim Gupshen, who is also a doctor, has defended the comments while pointing out that there were successful lawsuits against both Pfizer and Moderna with respect to the efficacy of the jabs. So you get the gist of what was in the Trinidad Express. So number one, there will be no apology. That is fine. She has no right to apologize for anything. Let's look at this article from CNN. It says, Norway reviewing deaths of frail and elderly jabbed against the pandemic. All right? So Norway is reviewing deaths of frail and elderly patients who were vaccinated during the pandemic. Let's get to the second part of that article. Doctors in Norway are investigating the deaths of 23 elderly patients who had received the Pfizer-BioNTech jab, looking into the possibility that adverse reactions to the jab may have contributed to fatal outcomes in some frail patients. The jab side effects are usually mild, that's what they're saying, but they could include fever, nausea, which could be dangerous in very ill and frail patients. So basically what they're admitting here too is that the jab exploded inside of the elderly persons. And that's why they died. Let's carry on. It's just so funny that when the pandemic was up and running, Diyal Singh was on television every evening talking about how many persons were sick, how many were in the hospital, how many were dying. I'm not sure Trinidad if they're telling you about the deaths now, the numbers, the sickness people are encountering. You gotta leave your comments in the section below so I can know what's happening down there. But let's continue with this one. The link between J&J's jab and blood clots, what you need to know. So here we go again. And it says information in this article was accurate at the time of origin from Yale Medicine. Of course, Yale is one of the most brilliant universities in the world. You can't get it better than Yale. So let's continue to see what they said. Concerns has continued to grow over a small but growing number of cases of rare but serious blood clotting disorders associated with J&J jabs. In May, the Food and Drug Administration (FDA) put the new restrictions on who can get the jab based on fresh review of data on life-threatening blood clots that have been associated with the jab. This was 5 months after the CDC endorsed the decision to give preferential recommendations to Pfizer and Moderna. The latest decision restricts access of the jab to adults 18 and older who specifically request the J&J shot or who cannot have the other available jabs for medical reasons. So you see what we're talking about here. So when she says that it was poison and it's affecting people, she has no right to apologize for it. I'm not sure if the health officials in Trinidad or in any other Caribbean countries are telling you about these things now. They were updating us daily during the pandemic, and they should come back and tell us about this now. Pfizer accused of bringing discredit on the industry with unnecessary jabs. All right, let's continue with this one. It says, Pharmaceutical Watchdog, PMCPA, found that the pharma giant promoted unlicensed medicines and violated its regulatory code 5 times. Back in 2020, Dr. Berkeley Phillips, medical director at Pfizer, retweeted a post on X from a U.S. employee which stated, our jab candidate is 95% effective in preventing, and 94% effective in people over 65 years old. We will file all of our data with health authorities within 10 days. Thank you to every volunteer in the trial and to all who are tirelessly fighting this pandemic. The post was also shared by 4 other UK employees at the company. However, the PMCPA ruled that the post had limited information about the jab's efficacy, no reference to adverse events, and no safety information. Therefore, the message resulted in an unlicensed medicine being proactively disseminated on Twitter to health professions and the members of the public in the UK, the regulatory body said. As a result of the misjudged tweets, Pfizer was charged £34,000 in administrative cost. So there is no way Kamala should actually apologize for anything, and she has all of the information to back up what she was saying. Whether the jab was fake, it was poison, she has a right to say what she has to say. The information is out there, and the other thing should actually come back to the public and give the public this information. The Attorney General in Texas, Ken Paxton, sues Pfizer for misrepresenting the jab efficacy and conspiracy to censor public opinion. Remember during the pandemic, you couldn't say anything. You put it on Facebook, it was taken down. You put it on certain platforms, it would just deplatform you and all that stuff. Well, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton has sued Pfizer for unlawfully misrepresenting the effectiveness of the company's jab and attempting to censor public discussion on the product. Pfizer engaged in false, deceptive, and misleading acts and practices by making unsupported claims regarding the company's jab in violation of Texas's Deceptive Trade Practices Act. So there you go again. Kamala has one more in her arsenal. All right, for the housing. He's just disgusting, and he really should come back to the public and give you all this information now. As AstraZeneca admits, its jab can cause rare side effects in court documents for the first time. Pharmaceutical giant being sued in class action over claims its jab caused death and serious injury to dozens of patients. And it says also the Telegraph newspaper. AstraZeneca has admitted for the first time in court documents that its jab can cause rare side effects in an apparent about turn that could pave the way for multi-million-pound legal payout. The pharmaceutical giant being sued over claims that the jab developed at the University of Oxford caused death and serious injury in dozens of cases. Lawyers argue that the jab produces a side effect which has a devastating effect on people. The first case was lodged by Jamie Scott. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what happened there. Father of 2, who was left with a permanent brain injury after developing a blood clot. and a bleed on the brain that has prevented him from working after he received the jab in April 2021. The hospital called his wife 3 times to tell her that her husband was going to die. DL Singh should be the one apologizing to Trinidad and explaining to you about these new science that is out that they're not telling anyone about. Remember they followed the science, but here's what the science is saying now. These jabs were just technically poison, worthless, not effective. Not effective. Remember Dr. Fauci, the main man, remember he said that 6 feet apart, and then he came back in a testimony on Capitol Hill to say that was just a made-up thing, he never worked in the first place to begin. So maybe the LC should really come out and tell the Trinidad public about all this information, give you this information. He really has an obligation as the Minister of Health, who was the main man, the main spokesperson at the forefront of the pandemic, telling you all about who was dying, all about who was in the hospital, and how safe and effective these poisons were. They should really come out now and tell you. He should be the one apologizing to Trinidadians. But you can leave your comments in the section below and let me know what's taking place. And if you want to WhatsApp with any kind of information, you can do so with the number provided on the screen as well. All right? Take it easy. Until the next time, remember to like, share, subscribe to the channel.
Boy. Mikey, go ahead, my brother.
Yes, indeed. All right. Pleasant good morning, loud and clear.
Loud and clear.
All right. Good morning. It's 8 o'clock. We are on Guile, the Caribbean at this time. So pleasant good morning to our Guile family, to our regional CARICOM family. It's Thursday, September 19th, 2024. Good morning to you, my brother Andy Pitbull Williams. Morning to you, Lennox Smith. And of course, our technical director. Good morning again, gentlemen, and to all the good folks that are locked on Real Media TT, and of course, Guile, the channel right here throughout the Caribbean. Gentlemen, don't forget, of course, we will be touching base quickly with the tutor president. Something apparently has been planned for this morning. We'll call him there at the Council of the St. Dominic's Penal RC, and in engaging in a peaceful public demonstration from 8 a.m. outside the school. Tutor says that it will stand in solidarity with the parents. So what is going on at the St. Dominic's Penal RC school? So if we can link with the tutor president, Martin Lumpkin. Just let me know, Andy.
You send me the number, right?
Lennox Smith. Yes, I did send you the number. There's a lot of information this morning that you laid out there. A lot of information.
Yes, people have to know it is a terrible time in the sense that there is an election upon us, and we cannot do the same thing over and over and expect a different result. And I think that's a fundamental principle that all human beings would subscribe to. And therefore, information in a democracy is crucial to determine, in particular, who should manage your affairs. And we have a duty and responsibility to, of course, whether it is salubrious, whether it is acceptable or not.
Hold 1 minute, Lennox Smith. Hold 1 minute. Yes, we have tutor president online. Go ahead.
Yep. Yes. Okay.
Yes, good morning, Martin Lumpkin. Good morning, comrade. You are live on the ground report. Yours truly, Mikey K, Andy Pitbull Williams, and Lennox Smith. I know this morning you are gathered at the St. Dominic's Penal RC. Well, what's going on?
Okay, good morning to the listeners, good morning to the host. I'm actually on the way. Traffic has kept me back a bit, but the Parent Teachers Council of the St. Dominic Penal RC School is engaging in a peaceful demonstration outside of the school to express their frustration and to highlight the conditions under which their students are attending school for the past 7 years. As the viewers or the listeners may be aware, St. Dominic Penal RC was decanted in 2017. So it's approximately 7 years. They have been moved out of the original compound. And the challenge there as well, the present compound is located, so I have to say compounds are located in two separate physical areas. One at the Penal Community Center and one at the church's hall, parish hall. And so, sorry. And so the administration, the principal has that challenge of managing two physical plants that are meters away, well, tens of meters away. That's the first challenge. Secondly, both compounds were not built for occupation by a school, and the occupants at the community center have a lot of challenges. Earlier this year, the parents would have engaged in some fiery protests because of the lack of attention by the Ministry of Education to have the infrastructure upgraded. And so we had instances where parts of the ceiling were dropping. Thank God it fell when the school was not occupied. And the second instance, part fell close to the students and the teachers. So the parents now those were fixed. However, one can well imagine with this excessive heat what the school is going through. There are units at the community center, but they have not been serviced since SEA, and they are only serviced at SEA time when the principal will highlight that as one of the infrastructural works to be done, such that it doesn't threaten the writing of the SEA. At the parish hall, they have other challenges besides, well, they are well cooled, but in terms of the servicing of these air-conditioned units, which should be done ideally every 3 months, and especially when we have the presence of Sahara dust, etc., it's not being done in a timely manner. And you can imagine what threats it poses in terms of health. But at the community center, there's a challenge for space as well too. We have seen storage things stored on the corridor, which is a safety hazard. And at the front of the community center, the security booth is not operational. The security has to sit in the front of the building, and as such, the persons are allowed on the compound without the security being aware. There's no security at the parish hall, and that poses a great security risk for the students and teachers there. There is at the community center an altar class taking place during the school day, and the students have to share the washroom and toilets with these adults. And we don't have any background on these adults. I'm not accusing anyone of anything untoward, but you can imagine the security challenges and the concerns of our educators at that facility, because anything can happen in terms of when they go to the washroom and there's an adult there. At the parish hall, there is the migrants school as well, and they have to share the washroom, and it's only one cubicle per per gender, and they are sharing as well too. So St. Dominic's parents are at this time frustrated, and they're fed up, and they want to get their school. They want to be taken back to the original compound. Tutor is going to be there in solidarity with the parents because the learning conditions of our students are the teaching conditions of our teachers.
Yeah, let me just ask you this, Mr. President, coming out in the papers today, because I know you're on your way there. The teachers at St. George's College and their representing union, which is tutor, you see, incensed and are accusing Education Minister Dr. Naim Gosby-Dolly of coming after them with a big stick instead of seeking to address concerns at the school. The teachers staged walkout over infrastructure problems. What's going on with that? Because 1 minute we're hearing that $10 million was spent, and we're seeing video of the effects of rainwater that has flooded the school and what have you. Where does that stand now?
Tutor and the representative union is really incensed with the latest media release of the Ministry of Education. I don't know who would have created or couched that media release. That person should be disciplined in our estimation, because the Ministry of Education has attempted to lay blame on the staff at the St. George's College for the issues that are taking place. And they have attempted to misdirect and to have other entities blame. We see it as a childish behavior. As you are aware, some children, when they do wrong, they tend to blame other parties beside themselves. And this is what the Ministry of Education is doing. And they are distracting from the issues. The issues at the time were infrastructural issues. How, in good heaven's name, you could bring in issues of fans, 80 fans missing, and you are questioning how they went missing. In other words, the occupants of the compound, including our members, responsible for 80 fans going missing, as well as other issues of teacher interaction with the students. How does that link? What's the nexus between that and what is taking place in terms of infrastructure? And so we condemn this release by the Ministry of Education in the strongest terms possible, because they are seeking to now deflect from what is the issue, that they would have spent money to reopen a school that was not prepared to be reopened. And we want to say at this time, we must thank our members, because they are standing up for their rights. It's not really a walkout as such. It is a matter of utilizing their rights as workers in relation to their lunch and having to occupy a free space, and to exercise that right to leave the compound during their lunchtime. They will continue to wear red as a sign of protest at the conditions at the school, because they are challenged with proper ventilation during the day. And this is throughout Trinidad and Tobago, but they are being challenged because in the public's eye, they are comfortable, and things would have been provided for them in terms of cooling and so, but that is not the truth. The electricity was only restored to the IA block, the industrial arts block, this week, after it would have been promised to have been done before the start of school and even during the first week of the new term. And so to have the Ministry of Education now put in issues, and if you have issues, you can deal with that separately, but don't distract the public into believing that our members of staff, our members are responsible for what is taking place in St. George's. And as was pointed out before, that flooding is not a new phenomenon. It has happened in the past. The intensity of it was highlighted a couple of days ago. But what was also pointed out is when they completed the new roof in the over the hall, the gutterings, the outpouring of the rain that is collected at the top, ends up in one area in the quadrangle, and the quadrangle cannot take the volume of water at that time, and so would have caused the flooding throughout the school. But it happens, as you're aware, in the Barataria area, we do have flooding.
Definitely.
So for the Ministry of Education to say this was a one-off situation, and that that the persons who are highlighting it are only doing this to disrupt the school and the running of the school. We have to also remember St. George's College has been performing extremely well over the years. So if there was this discord and disunity amongst the staff, why are they performing so well? It doesn't seem to match, because you need to have a level of unity for the school to do well at the CSEC and CAPE examination. But now you are saying that there are other issues, and we are. I can't explain our feeling when we saw that release yesterday morning.
All right. Well, you know, all the best. I mean, I'm sure we're going to hear more about what transpires this morning at that school. And again, thanks for taking time out, comrade, and sharing with the good folks out there. So it's the St. Dominic's Penal RC, and there's going to be a peaceful public demonstration this morning outside the school, and we have the tutor president making it clear that his team stands in solidarity with the parents. Thank you so much again for taking time out. So there you have it.
You're welcome. If you can allow me very quickly, there are other schools, and there are a number of other schools with infrastructural challenges, and we will be highlighting them over the upcoming weeks as well. So thanks very much.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. President. So there you have it, folks. Gael family, you haven't thank you across the region. You got an insight there what's taking place with our school system here in Trinidad and Tobago, infrastructure problems after the long vacation period, August vacation period to come out, the children thinking that they're coming back to institution that they have been to attending, and here it is, the problem still exists, whether it be plumbing, whether it be electrical, whether it be, and ministry is saying, listen, we have no money for that. We have no money for that, but if they beat their chest and say all schools was open on time. Makes you wonder. Andy, I know we have Philip Alexander lined up this morning. For those of you out there, again, if you're now looking on to Gael TV, those out there in the CARICOM region, I am Mikey K. The man at the master control you're seeing there is Andy Pitbull Williams, and my colleague there, Lennox Smith. We are the host of the Ground Report. The Ground Report, yes, the most talked about, love it, hate it, whatever the indifference may be, it is the most popular morning program here in TNT, and of course other parts of the region as well. So Grenada, Guyana is locked on, so I know Guyana sent yesterday, they're locked on, Dominica, St. Kitts and Nevis, and throughout the region. Good morning indeed. Do we have him there, Andy?
Yep, we are rolling in.
Right. Let's welcome political leader
has been forwarded.
Alexander. See if we can get him on, Andy, before. A lot of information coming out this morning, yeah.
All right. Tell him just look out for a call from 366-3053. Tell him again one call like it may be Blocko. What's Blocko? Need to unblock. So we are all one family. So tell him that.
I like that.
I cannot get blocked. Like he did block. Remember, how the pitbull is. Yeah, and when tongue thing there, and you tell people, people is blocking and thing. But
yeah, they block you. They don't want to hear you.
Yeah, hear one.
Laser focus.
Yeah.
That's the kind of laser focus you had to be. Don't waste time. Pitbull again on my nerves, man. I thinking you and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You get on my nerves. Hey, but just to, of course, touch on this while you make your call there. Of course, we know by now that the police held 2 suspects in the health minister's robbery. But what's interesting is that they said hours, according to the newspaper report, hours after the health minister, Terence Dialsing, was robbed of a gold bracelet at gunpoint, senior police officials sent a warning to the perpetrators. We are coming after you.
But why does these same
But
senior government officials don't send the same warning when innocent people homes are being invaded, when people are being
that's what
robbed, and we don't get that type of response, but we're getting it for highly paid government ministers. Some of them all actually have police security.
yeah, security detail. Yeah, well, yeah. They have
Wow.
a driver, So in a strongly worded voice note yesterday, in which she urged the perpetrators to surrender to the authorities, Deputy Commissioner of Police of Investigations and Intelligence, Suzette Martin, confirmed that several persons have been assisting with the investigations. Condemning what she described as a brazen robbery, Martin said, to those who were involved in this crime, my best advice to you is to turn yourself in with your attorney, relative, or friend. Rest assured, we are coming after you. Martin assured a thorough investigation is already underway and all efforts are being made to swiftly apprehend those responsible.
To me, it really and truly coming
She said to
across.
ensure,
Go ahead. Because to me, coming across as an insult to the average citizen of Trinidad and Tobago. You know? Because they're running down a bracelet.
She added that the TTPS would ensure that all involved in this crime face the full brunt of the law.
All right. So that's the people who involved in taking a bracelet compared to all the people involved in crime that take lives or murder people or home invade people, home beat them up or rape them or do whatever they do to them. We never get statements like all perpetrators involved will be dealt with. But for a government minister, a MP, a big boy, all will be going towards getting back this bracelet for him. Wow.
Yeah, the full brunt of the law, the full brunt. Now, I just hope, I just hope that this doesn't turn out to be some Academy Award thing with, best lead actress in a political drama, and then you start hearing perhaps the minister saying, you know what, I've spoken to the police, and I've decided that pressing charges at this time doesn't make sense. These are my constituents. So I sat with them, and then you put on that whole voice. And as we sat there and I spoke to them, I wept because I realized that these young men really and truly are not criminals. They're not hardcore individuals. And I said to myself, what can I do as the MP to help them? What can I do as the MP? And now I want to tell you that these two gentlemen are not working. I found employment for them. And all of this perhaps done just to make sure that the person they want to replace him with, when it comes to screening for candidates, that he remains there. I'm just saying. We have seen a lot of these lead actors come out and actresses come out only to impress their leader. It has nothing to do with the issue. So when they started here talk about I ain't pressing no charges, I spoke to the police, I met with a young man, I realized and I wept with them, we held hands and we prayed right there. And I said, you know what? Sending them to jail is not the answer. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. You know the ground report, they see it when others can only. Andy, boy, I tell you, Lennox, don't be surprised. Do not be surprised. But they say this man accustomed. Yeah, they say what he accustomed going out there and hanging out with, and other people saying, but then the first time we see in a long time. He don't usually come out here.
But there's a conspiracy theory surrounding this matter, There's a conspiracy theory that it may have been staged as well. Yeah. But of course, the suspects were found in St. Paul Street. The vehicle that was alleged to use was found there. But the fact that the police have made a statement saying that we will find you in spite of those suspects that are in custody tells me that there is something more in the motor than the pestle. It is not yet complete. They believe that there are other persons that may be involved. But I think what is significant as well is that whether or not they knew who that potential victim was. And if they knew it was the minister, then that is something much more sinister, for want of a better term, because it means that every single member of this government will have to watch themselves. because, of course, the people, if it is, as I said, that they knew that the victim, the potential person who they would have robbed, it would have been the minister or is the minister. That is a significant development. And Dr. Rowley better watch themselves. Yeah.
Well, the owner of a small grocery nearby where the incident took place said he was robbed in June, and up to now nobody can come to help him. So I don't know.
These have these nuances emerging because people will say it's unfair. Why would you dedicate so much resource to this man and the ordinary persons in the society are not so fortunate? And in this particular case, as I said yesterday when we posed that question to former commissioner of police, I said that it would have, of course, increased the police detection rate by that singular incident. Of course, if there are no more like that, it means that therefore the detection rate will flounder once again. So, because the speed with which they are talking about having apprehended suspects, I mean that's a novelty. That is an aberration. That is not normal. And therefore, one hopes that will continue in the ordinary, efflux of time with other incidents of a similar nature. But unfortunately, it is not happening.
Yeah, but here we're going to do, but meanwhile, Trinidad and Tobago, we haven't communicated with UDB. Thousands of you out there that lock onto the #1 program on the morning, the ground report. So what we're going to do is just take some quick calls, but meanwhile we try to get in contact.
And you go ahead. Yes, take some quick call because he is making the move for you to link with him. So
nice.
Go ahead and take your calls in the meantime. Yes, my brother.
Nice. So the lines are open, Trinidad and Tobago. The lines are open. The numbers are called 225-6644, 225-6644, or 239-5120, 239-5120. Or give us a WhatsApp call at 366-3053, 366-3053, and you can also leave your WhatsApp voice note. Right, let me drop this a little bit, which is a voice. Nice. You can also leave your WhatsApp voice note at 366-3053, same number, 366-3053. The lines are open. What says though with you over there? The Alsing gets what? Speedily attention by the police service.
Very, very quickly. Yes, the full brunt of the law.
Yeah.
Full brunt of the law.
I wonder if the people who throw the people in the river get any full brunt of the law right now. Just wondering. Wow. Nice. So the lines are open. Alright, I'm gonna play some voice notes here by the meanwhile.
But I will not be surprised if the perpetrators,
hold 1 minute, Lennox,
would have known who the target was. I will not be surprised.
Andy, Lennox, and Mikey. That's Suzette Martin won that commissioner of police job. Bad boy. She's singing for she supper. She said she go find him like how she find Brent Thomas up in Barbados, eh? How she go do? She good at finding things, She good at finding things. She wonder work real bad. She go find the perpetrator of terrorist crime just to get her work. Do that. You should be paying Brent Thomas, not the taxpayers, for what you do. Understand? Taxpayers are the fork out money for your foolishness. Have a good day, Andy.
Yeah, Andy, they're set in 5 minutes. So in 5 minutes you can just go ahead.
What all of this?
Nice. I catch your voice early. And we're not playing that for the spin. We're not playing that. It's either coming clean or you ain't coming at all. Go ahead, let me make that connection.
Good job, Andy. Good job, Andy. I don't think the rest of the region needs to hear that filth. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly.
Folks, you know the numbers.
Your call has been forwarded to B-Mobile.
Is you trying to make the link?
Yeah, that's the link live there. So we need to bring in once and cutting off.
All right. It's going to come through. Go ahead. You go ahead in the meantime.
It's very interesting what the head of tutor said. There are other schools in a dilapidated state. I saw on Green Media
Yes.
TT the highlighting of Mount Hope, for example. During that rainy spell, we had a situation where the roof was, of course, bleaching water, for whatever better term, and then, of course, apart from the flooding, similar to that, and reminiscent of what transpired at St. George's. So there is a lot of work to be done by the ministry, and one wonders why it is that the ministry will continue to say that everything is honky-dory, everything is ready. And when one looks at Mount Hope alone, I mean, you look at the external part of it and you wonder if it's some kind of concentrated shantytown that they have for a school, because I mean it's just dilapidated. It is unkept. The wall, the painting and the walls are coming off, subjected to, of course, nature and the winds and the sunshine on that school. I mean, it is horrible. And then, of course, the ministry then says, "Listen, we had to deal with it, but of course, we just got a contractor. So, is it that the contractor will be working and therefore disrupting classes during the course of the normal term? What is going to be happening in such circumstance? You simply cannot predict what ought to be a predictable situation with this ministry and this government in general, because they simply act topsy-turvy. What you expect to be is not normally what you will get or what they will deliver."
Yes. While we try to link with the PEP leader, Mr. Philip Alexander. So what we're going to do by the meanwhile, go to take some calls,
Or we have some...
the lines are open. Now let's get the lines open. Let me give those numbers. The numbers to call: 225-6644, 225-6644, or 239-5120, 239-5120. Or give us a call or send a WhatsApp voice note at 366-3053. So you can make your WhatsApp calls at 366-3053 or send your WhatsApp voice notes at 366-3053. I'm playing talk for the spin, you're not a welcome. You can't come clean, you're not welcome. All right, let's go. Morning caller.
Good morning, Andy. Good morning to Mikey, Lennox, Newbie, and to everybody out here. Zibaran, you stand strong. Stand strong. Don't let anybody intimidate you. Andy, I'm glad you cut him off. You did well this morning. Congratulations. Don't take it because you don't know when his Tourette's will act up and you will start cussing like Rowley. You understand? Or say some nasty things like Rowley. Anyway, Andy and the ground report crew, I want to say something here this morning. I said it before and I'm going to say it again. I am the Lone Ranger. I have no Tonto riding with. What I say is of me. I never, and anyone only can testify to that. I never one day came here and bad talk the UNC. Nowhere, as a matter of fact. I believe in Kamala Prasad Bisesa and I believe in her works and that of the UNC. And when I make a contribution, nobody, I don't want anybody who stink up the UNC because they couldn't get things, right? They couldn't get things. So suddenly now, they had an epiphany that when I make a contribution, I keep an UNC in opposition. No friends. It's the things that all you did, right? Because they couldn't get a cold, Mikey was he saying? A cold roti and a hot chubby? Or they couldn't get other things, right? And they went all about bad talking the UNC. I never did that. And now we are the ones that have to make restitution for what it is all you do. So don't come and say my contribution yesterday towards Gary, keeping we in opposition. No. Every Monday morning all you have something to say about the UNC. As though Kamala should be asking all you for advice on how to move forward, right, with the UNC. And that is what have all you aggravated, because she's not asking all you. But all you don't listen when all you're talking, but all you does listen to when Santa Cruz talking. But I want to tell all you, listen good, because none of you can come and tell me what to do. Andy, I want to raise the next issue here this morning. I am asking a question, I'm asking a question. That the former candidate from Karapu, right? The UNC candidate from Karapu, the local government candidate, did she get back her money, her refund from the EBC, because she got enough votes that she didn't lose her deposit, right? That's it, the deposit. She didn't lose the deposit, right? Did she return that money as yet? And now I'm understanding that she's a Paris supporter, right? But I'm asking a question this morning, ma'am. Did you return that money yet to the person that you borrowed it from to pay for your nomination fee? If not, can you please do so? Because I understand that you received the money, but you refuse to turn it over to whoever you borrowed it from. Please do that, okay? Because it's not right when people come out, step up to the plate and help you, that you should turn your back on them. That's not right. So, Andy, I know you're waiting for Philip Alexander. I can't wait to hear him either, right? So, I'm going to finish here, and all take care and have a good morning.
All right, thank you so much.
Oh boy, so let me try to get back in contact with
you should have it there. Yeah, you should have it there. No.
Yes, because boy, it's very interesting to interview him too, because remember, people was talking their talk when it coming to him, when it coming to Gary, and all this thing. People are saying, well, boy, everybody's supposed to put their differences aside, do the right thing for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. People are saying, well, at the end of the day, Gary had money, Philip had money, all of them will live, they will get to go to the hospital, they will go away, do surgeries, they will go away, them go organize at the end of the day. That's what people saying, eh? So you just, and as the ground report, and the ground report is we undiluted. We talk to mind, and the same way Gary had was to get the hard questions yesterday, it's the same way Philip had to get the hard questions today, because we can't have it 1 minute is one thing, next minute is the next thing, or however it go. So again, let me say a pleasant good morning to Mr. Philip Alexander, the leader of the PEP, Mikey Philip Alexander, Gael the Caribbean Philip Alexander. Go ahead, my brothers.
Good morning, Mr. Alexander. Mikey K here. And of course, the intro was done by our very own Andy Pitbull Williams, and Lennox Smith is also with us here this morning. Good morning and welcome. This is GR Prime, where we link with Gael TV, of course, and on Real Media TT. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Great. Good morning to the guys in the studio. Good morning to all your listeners.
Good morning. A lot has been said, and of course, my colleague said it, of course, in his introduction. Yesterday, Mr. Gary Griffith, the political leader of the NTA, was on. He was justifying why it's necessary to have this alliance as far as on the issue of swing voters, as far as there are people out there who would not vote for either the PNM nor the UNC, but still would want to be a part of a movement to change what's happening in this country. What say you on that issue?
Another nonsense statement. The election results year after year after year says that is a lie. When the Congress of the People got their famous 160,000 votes, those were 160,000 votes that were taken away from the UNC. It was UNC votes. There are 600,000 people who vote every election. And that 160,000 that year was taken away from the UNC when Bastio Pandey famously, his speech at the end was, Winston Dukaran, when you look in the mirror. You remember that speech? That was because the Congress of the People took United National Congress votes. There is no band of swing voters sitting down there intellectually waiting to pick somebody. Trinidad is divided between the PNM and the UNC. And I can tell you this, Mikey, because I have walked this walk. I inform a political party and say, I run in, and when election time comes, they run nowhere. Every single election that I've been present for, I either ran as an independent or the Progressive Empowerment Party. We packed the center of excellence. I said, we're bringing it home. Oh, election day, all Zambia is getting the hole. Election day, everybody is getting a section. There is only one solution to the insanity going on in Trinidad and Tobago right now. I want Gary Griffith to hear me. Stop your nonsense. You know for a fact that every single member of your alliance, not one of them could win, ever win. None of you all have ever won an election. Not Timothy Hammersmith, not Gavin Nicholas, not you. You cannot win unless you're inside the United National Congress. It is time for all the good people out of the 600,000 who care to gang up and get rid of the madness of this Keith Rowley, PNM, and his band of miscreants.
All right, well, people, Mr. Alexander is saying that you have a lot of influence, including Gary have a lot of influence. So if it go, people are saying, well, 1 minute is you, they strip, next minute is he, they strip, or however it go, and why it is that it cannot have for the people of Trinidad and Tobago, for the people, a reasonable kind of coming together. Well, yes, under a UNC umbrella or so, in order for we to rig the country of this government, because people are saying they cannot take a next 5 years, and while all their tongue lashing each other, and he and all. Well, yes, in his state, that is not an attack on Kamala Persad-Bissessar, which we blame no plane. I mean, you can't want to be in bed with somebody and beating them, all right? In that kind of way, he says a defense, that he's being defensive. But it reached the stage now where the ground report is playing a role in a very important role in trying to get all united opposition forces for we to get together, because everybody's singing the same thing, which is the PNM is the enemy. And that we all cannot take a next 5 years at the PNM. The Trinidad and Tobago will go through. Many people are planning to leave the country, migrate, and all these various things. And I am telling you, the country will feel very good if it is all of you all, everybody could come together and let us move the PNM. Could it have that type of coming together?
And everybody have to make sense. You have to open your hand. You have to respect the fact. You can't just go in EBC and register 3 letters and call yourself a party. I have a good idea of what it takes for Kamala Persad-Bissessar and her executive to keep that party running. And I'm telling you, I run a real political party that have executive and have team leaders and could organize and contest an election. I have fought 3 elections as a third party. Not one of them could say the same thing. They are flying blind. They're clueless as to what it takes. And I'm telling you, if you join in with somebody, open your hands, bend the knee, say to Kamala Persad-Bissessar, we are working with you. I give it no qualifications. I am saying I am not asking for anything. I want the PNM gone. Kamala Persad-Bissessar is saying all the right things. She's touching on all the right issues. And I will use my voice. I wrote last night, I put out a release called Kamala Stand Your Ground. Don't let nobody bully you. Do not give in to political extortion. People who come in and say they're going to split vote, them can't split nothing. They have no votes to get. Every single one of those 5 dissidents, if they have any sense at all, they will bend the knee and give Kamala back the respect she deserves. She is a forgiving woman and she will give them back a place in the party. I know that. I know her a long time. But you see this nonsense about Rambly saying you have no interest in making up? Well, go your way. Go your way. Put on your red shirt and cross the floor and see if you take any UNC vote. You're taking 1. All the seats are there in the safe seats. Instead of saying this, you can cross the floor, you can cross the ceiling. UNC winning the next election. And it had the 1% panicking because they put all their money in this Keith Rowley, PNM, and band and miscreants. So now they don't know what to do. And all of us who standing with Kamala, for Kamala, not UNC alone, I am standing with Kamala Persad-Bissessar. I trust her. I trust the words that she's saying. And people will find videos. Nobody, no politician talk more than me. I talk for hundreds of thousands of hours. Nobody, I talk more than everybody. And you will find videos, yes, there was times I fight in the UNC and I fight the leader. Nobody don't know who in the ranks. Nobody know who's Gary party besides Gary. You just only know the leaders. Leaders have to fight. But when time comes to say, all right, we united going forward, Kamala is the leader of whatever this is going forward. And as I told her last night, if you want Farley can come to an accommodation, help Farley. Because if every seat that Farley take from the PNM is a death blow, and that's what we have to do. A game of numbers right now. Beat the PNM here, there, and everywhere. And that is why the Progressive Empowerment Party is we are screaming candidates, strong candidates, in Diego Martin West, Diego Martin Central, Diego Martin Northeast, Port of Spain North, Port of Spain South, Laventille East, Laventille West, St. Andrews, Labrador and Point 14. We're going in the GAR. I'm going to give them a fight on the ground that they never expected. I'm going straight in the belly of the beast. That's how we have to play this. The PNM have to go.
I agree with you, but in yesterday's interview too, Gary Griffith mentioned that he is such a loyal person to Kamala Persad-Bissessar. He also warned, because again, everybody had to watch, he also warned that at this point in time, it will have people will come around, talk like how you are talking there, and very, very close to the election, will start to talk different to mash up the party.
Gary Loyal, ask Gary why he pulled down the party in 2015. Gary Loyal, ask Gary why he worked for Keith Rowley to get the UNC to lose in 2015. Gary Loyal, when Gary was PNM Commissioner of Police, lashing Kamala, say how she wants to spend $42 million on gangs to destabilize the country, how is a set of criminals in the party, how the UNC is the reason Trinidad have crime is standing against crime legislation. Gary is a liar. He's a double-tongued deceiver. I want to tell you something. I put my entire political career on the line right now. I can't pull this back. I have said, this is it for me. I was either going to sit out, or if I am influencing the election, I'm influencing the election based on issues. I told Mikey in an interview, I'm going to start a national campaign to walk through the length and breadth of this country to explain to people the insanity of cashless, what this revenue authority means to small people, what this property tax going and do to small people who want to finish pay off for the house and leave something for the children when they're dead. This evil empire, watch me, is of galactic importance. Gary Griffith trying to push me out, March the 2nd, when I said I will support Kamala. Gary nearly get a stroke, and he come to push me out. But I want to say this, can Gary Griffith can't interfere with my support for Kamala Persad-Bissessar? And unlike him, I'm not asking for anything.
Let me ask the next question. Let me ask the next question as you mentioned that. All right, you say, Gary, let me say Kamala Persad-Bissessar now. Right, because you say if it is he's supposed to kneel down and say Kamala sorry and talk to her and this and that, and let me say he do that, and let me say Kamala Persad-Bissessar brace him with open hands based on people wanting unity. What would be your move? Will you be singing the same way, or would you now, because let me say Kamala embrace back Gary, would you now just turn around and start to mash up the whole party? Just asking. You know the pitbull. Go ahead.
After March 2nd, when we endorsed Kamala, my team went down to a public meeting on a Monday night in somewhere in South. And Kamala asked me one thing after, because people saw that she spent a long time after that meeting talking to me, and everybody came to make a circle around us. She asked me one thing. She said, mend fences with Gary. You and Gary mend fences in the best interest of everybody. The next day, I reached out to Gary's team. Paul Daniel Nahus organized that me and Gary was going to meet the next day. Paul Daniel Nahus said we're going to meet in his mother house in Fairways. Paul Daniel Nahus went down in Adams and buy out Adams. Food for all of us to sit down and eat and trash this thing out. And the morning of the meeting, Paul Daniel Nahus had to call me and say, Gary called him and say his wife says he can't go in no meeting. That was nonsense talk. Gary playing everybody because Gary have an overestimated sense of his own value and self-importance. But if Kamala Persad-Bissessar, as the leader of her party, says she accepting Jack, Jim, and Jimbo, I accepting Jack, Jim, and Jimbo. My job is not them. My job is Kamala. My job is to get Kamala elected as the Prime Minister. And I had a trust. At the end of the day, she is the one in the hot seat, not me. She making the hot seat decisions. So if she had a balance all the crap Griffith do and say she have a reason for taking him back, I have to respect that. It is not me dictating to Kamala what she should do with her party. And no, I have no intention of mashing up nothing or walking away. I am not going to stop. I want the PNM to hear me. I want that wrinkle-faced Dwen to hear me. I want Small Pin with his delusions of grandeur to hear me. I want Keith Rowley, all inside him rotting right now. I want him to hear me. We're not going to stop. Faris and Rowley, I want all them hair plugs to fall out your head. Your mother see me in Artie, and she tell me I am the best politician she ever hear speak, and she wish her son could learn from me. I want to tell Trinidad and Tobago something. I know my role, I know my ability, and I understand Trinidad and Tobago politics. There is no room for no third parties. There is no room for any hostile negotiation right now like Griffith and them doing. Bend the knee. Go to Kamala and say, you are the leader we support, because you're either supporting Kamala or you're supporting Keith Rowley. That is what this entire election is. Don't let nobody fool you. You could be a front, you could be a back, you could be a side. No matter who you say you think you are, if you are not supporting Kamala Prasad Bisesa and the UNC, you're supporting Keith Rowley.
One quick thing, Mikey, because I like how you said that. One quick.
I think he said it there, but I have to ask Mr. Alexander. I mean, are you telling us right here on the ground report to the national audience and those, of course, on Gael, that you have gone past all of this as far as personalities, that you are now laser focused to the point of making sure that the main objective is to get Kamala Prasad Bisesa back into government as the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago? Is that what you're saying?
Mikey, you and I have been in the trenches together. You and I fight all kind of demons together. Andy Williams and Lennox know me. They know how strong I am. They know the power of my voice. And I want to say this unequivocally here. I want to say this crystal clear. I want Trinidad and Tobago to hear me. If my own party, the Progressive Empowerment Party, get in the way of me supporting Kamala Prasad Bisesa, I will resign from the Progressive Empowerment Party and put on a yellow shirt tomorrow. I am not stopping until Kamala Prasad Bisesa is the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. You could cut that clip and you could sell it everywhere. Philip Edward Alexander fully endorses and supports Kamala Prasad Bisesa as the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago.
Right. The question I wanted to ask, because you did mention it, and I know Gary's listening, Kamala is listening, everybody's listening. You did mention that you were willing to put everything aside, Mr. Nahu's son, all to meet by the house, and all was to do this, do that. That was blanked by Gary Griffith. That move in that unity. So let me ask something. Knowing that was blank, knowing how stern you are, let's say he go on his knees, he apologize, he this, he that, however it go, at this point in time, right? Or even if you don't, are you welcoming unity? Are you welcoming unity, or would you continue?
I say this as
well, I think he quite clear.
I'm not using fancy terms like enemy and my enemies, my friend. I'm saying that. I say if all of us on the same boat, rowing in the same direction, to the same destination, all of we as one family. That's it. Me and Gary could be best of friends tomorrow. Me and Gary Griffith could be best of friends tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tell me.
Start over there, Mikey. Now you're in here.
And I think, Mr. Alexander, when we talk, we speak on behalf. We speak on behalf.
You're not coming across clear.
While you're managing your technical difficulty, I want to say this.
Not coming across clear, Mikey. But go ahead, Philip.
I want to say this clear. I want to say that clear as possible. Trinidad is not going to survive. This is not about me. This is not about my ego or my ambition. This is about my country. I cannot let these people get away with this. I watched this nasty man celebrating that the country, that he win, that the country going and get this. And listen now, and you see how karma is. The same day, one of his colleagues ended up getting robbed in St. Joseph. This country is in a place right now. Everywhere I go, people telling me, Philip, I can't pay school fees. I can't put food on the table. I suffer it. Help us. And I tell you, Trinidad and Tobago, The only thing that I could do to help you right now is to get everybody voting in the same direction.
Nice. Lennox Smith, you have any question there for Philip Alexander?
Yeah, of course. I want to say to you, Philip, I want to say to you, Philip, that I'm extremely both elated and profoundly surprised as to your frankness and as to your bold and clearly very vociferous position on the question as to the way forward, because we have been saying that for many years. I want to tell you as well that you are making such a bold statement, even suggesting that you will abandon your own party for the position that you have taken as far as Kamala Persad-Bissessar and the UNC is concerned. But I want to tell you this, that you are doing so because yours is the only other party apart from the UNC, apart from the PDP, apart from the NAR that has beaten the PNM. And I'm referring, of course, to that by-election in Siparia, even though it was a distant second. But of course, you beat the PNM, and therefore I think there is some substance, and therefore there is something as far as the politics is concerned that will, of course, recognize that potential in the fellow called Philip Alexander and that which he stands for. So I want to commend you for taking that position. You will get no antagonism from me. I'm sure that, of course, my colleagues would be, why they have their own positioning, but I'm sure that they will agree with that position as well. But tell me something. Gary Griffith was very steadfast in his position that respect and some other issue that he said more abstract and moral and unethical standard. But you have announced your position that wherever Kamala wants to go, because you trust her judgment, we too, I want to tell you, you will accept. But Gary has not been able to tell us, having regard to all of the recriminations, all of the antagonistic utterances, I wouldn't say behavior, but utterances. What are some of your advice? What advice you will give for any kind of reconciliation, any kind of neutralizing, any kind of cooling down of the temperature, so to speak, having regard to all that has been passed already, preferably under the bridge, but nonetheless are concerns with the electorate or way to achieve your objective of making certain that an overwhelming victory is sustained by the UNC and therefore Kamala Persad-Bissessar.
Very good question, Lennox Smith. Go ahead, Mr.
I love the question. I want to take everybody's mind back to when there was a distance between the Congress of the People and the UNC, and they used to fight the UNC hard. And when Kamala Persad-Bissessar became the leader of the United National Congress, I remember they had a religious event, and Kamala and Winston Dukaran met face to face, and it was at that moment that all the hostilities ceased. The only solution right now going forward for Trinidad and Tobago is for everybody to stop their ego, stop their demands. Politics is not supposed to be a get-rich scheme. Politics is not supposed to be about what's in it for me. Politics is always supposed to be what's in it for the country. Right. How can I leave this country a better place when I die for my children? That is the only reason I have ever been in politics. And I'm saying to Trinidad and Tobago, I can't say this enough. And somebody said just now, somewhere antagonistic, Andy Williams is bringing that out to the people. He's been up a Rottweiler. Anyway, I could have picked a different dog. Anyway, now I have Rottweilers now. But anyway, the truth of the matter is, Trinidad and Tobago need PNM people to come over to the UNC. Trinidad and Tobago need political all the supporters of every political party to put country first and be honest with yourself. Look at your leader, whatever party you're in, and tell yourself, I love that person, but if I vote for that person in the election, I harm in myself. I harm in my children and their future. Because no amount of love, I could give you, I'll get some money, I'll get a drop if you have to go to the airport, but I can't give you a vote, because right now my vote is to save Trinidad and Tobago, and the only way to save Trinidad and Tobago. I'm not telling you that she is an option and lesser evil, you know. I'm saying Kamala Persad-Bissessar has said she will end the property tax. I said Kamala Persad-Bissessar has said there will be no cashless society. She's already talking about the WEF and WHO, the madness that the PNM has, those treaties that the PNM has sold the people of this country. Kamala Persad-Bissessar is saying all the right things. She's standing on all the right issues.
No Caribbean Court of Justice. No Caribbean Court of Justice too. She mentioned
that. I'm not hearing none of the other leaders of those parties, Mikey and Andy and Lennox. I'm not hearing them talking about these issues. But these are critical issues. No police commissioner must preside over Trinidad and Tobago Police Service that is in a league of with the World Health Organization that they say this is a pandemic, kick down your door and vaccinate your children. We can't have that. That cannot be in our future. We must fight. We must stand. Hear me now. This is not politics like your grandmother and your mother, you know. This is to fight and defend your children. You can't be in work and hear that police and these people from the health sector went in your child's school and inject all the children because the minister says so. That is a level of madness that we cannot allow to happen in this country, and that is where the PNM is taking us.
Nice. What advice, again, would you give to Gary Griffith?
Bend the knee. Bend the knee.
Bend the knee.
This is not a game of kings. This is not a game of leaders. Or just stop that foolishness, you and Timothy Hammersmith. Drop that alliance nonsense. Gavin Nicholas all over there. Gavin come to pluck you from obscurity, from being the most loser politician in the country, and make you a high commissioner to London for people to feed you and take care of your family. Bend your blasted knee. Show the woman some respect. Right now, we need to hold Kamala up, like how the Israelites had to hold Moses' arms up to get into the promised land. We are the point that we must be strong for her. Stop the old talk. Go in all them battlefields. If you have PNM people who like to talk nastiness, well, now that I support them, I know that the back cheeks clapping because they know that I know all of the business. They know that I know all the financiers. Them is my auntie and uncle. You know, when I come in the conversation, it's a different level of conversation. So let me go.
And if he does that, bend his knee, and we see all over the news, all over the television, everything, that he listen to what you say, would you play a role in making sure he is within the part of the unity in order to move forward and get rid of this taxing, lying, thieving government?
I partner in this now. I don't want to quote Tandy and say sleep with the devil, but I partner in with anybody to get these devils out of office. Anybody. If Gary say today, all the nonsense done, all of you on the same team, all of you on the same team. All the nonsense done, I always willing to, Andy, you know me. I'm strong, but I love it. I always willing to mend fences and make sense. And that is my number one position. Everybody know that. So, Gary Griffith, the ball is in his court. All these rules that he put in place, all this thing that he's speaking for the third force, that's a lie. That is not true. Gary, you have a little name because he was a Minister of National Security because Kamala put you there. Chief Rowley only make you Commissioner of Police because wherever deal all they make, that between you and Chief Rowley. I'm saying to you now, Gary Griffith, if you love this country, if you love your children, if you love freedom and democracy, stop the nonsense. Bend your knee. Tell Kamala Persad-Bissessar, I support you. Let's go.
Mikey, anything before? Oh boy. Nah, we ain't here.
Yeah,
Go
I think. Well, yeah. Here we
yes, we ain't here. Oh boy. Right, he'll be back on there now.
Well, gentlemen, as far as the compromising or the mending of which, I think the best idea, the best advice, the best position that I've heard is from Philip Alexander. It's right because the former commissioner of police did not give us, was at wit's end to tell us what will be the formula. But the formula is very simple. You must acknowledge the position that you are in, and this is about politics, and he is right, numbers, and therefore you must know your strength, and you must know your weakness, and you must know the strength of others, and you must know what will, of course, enhance your own position. And the only, except you want to be out of the cold, the only way to enhance your position, as you have experienced in the local government elections, is to have a relationship with the UNC. Clearly, the atmosphere that you have created on your own, because as I said last night on the corridor transformation, it is not, you cannot believe that you are equal to, let's say, Rowley as far as the PNM is concerned, or Kamala Prasad Bisesa as far as the UNC is concerned. You will always be left in the wilderness simply because you do not have the political currency, numbers and otherwise, and therefore your job is to make certain that you get there and you are able to influence the decision-making processes, and maybe over time you'll be able to get where Rowley has found itself, or Kamala has found herself. But for the time being, how could you believe that you are equal? And I think I got that acceptance from Philip Alexander's presentation this morning. So I'm saying to him, beautiful analysis, because anybody with an objective mind will, of course, draw the same conclusion that he has. So well done, my friend.
Yeah, you certainly couldn't ask for better comprehensive outline as far as what we've been looking for. And I think we are at this point here where it's not about Philip looking for King City Arm of Gary, or Gary looking for King City Philip. Past that as a people, we want to live better. I believe another company has been shut down, Methanex, or one of these companies. On this, we're dealing with it here. We're dealing with the fact that $4.8 million to box train. We're dealing with the fact that $5 billion in contracts cannot be accounted for, and missing money. We want to live better. We don't want to get tied up in he say, them say, we say, who eager and whoever. This is not a competition. This is about saving Trinidad and Tobago. And you heard Philip Alexander said, I have no problem if I go off my party t-shirt, put on yellow, join UNC. That's what it's all about. That's where the
we ain't getting you coming across too clear, boy.
Yeah, but I think what
let him say what he's saying. Go ahead, Mike.
Understand what the main objective here is.
Wow. Yeah,
I think in brief, what Mikey is at, what I glean Mikey is trying to say is that Philip Alexander is prepared to perform or to be a martyr for of course the ultimate good, and I think that is fantastic. Nothing wrong with that. And the martyrdom comes when he said, of course, that if his party is against his philosophical and determined position considered, then of course he's prepared so to do or to be, and that is what I expected of Gary Griffith yesterday when he left us, of course, in limbo as to what next, because he himself, having of course been engaged in this tit for tat arrangement that could only
worsen the thing.
Draw the casual observer to think that it's about ego as opposed to getting the job done and getting rid of the this monstrosity called the PNM, Rowley, and of course the inability to manage the affairs of the country.
Oh boy.
Billions of dollars.
Philip is still there?
Yeah, Philip is still here. He's responding. Go ahead.
Okay.
It's billions of dollars these people keep saying. Look at what's going on with Clico. These people, Clico has paid off CL Financial, pay off its debt, and these people still picking this company apart. This is criminal behavior. These are criminals. This government needs to come out of office and investigate it. We need to jail some of these criminals. The country must see prosecution. The country must see prosecution. Investigate and prosecute and jail them. Seize their assets. Go back historically and take what they took and they shared with their friends and their finances. That is the kind of response Trinidad and Tobago need right now. And I am prepared to stand with Kamala Persad-Bissessar and clean house in Trinidad and Tobago. See all them big position, all them big papi holding to use the law and to use state power against the citizens. All of them must be brought to their knees politically. It is time for strong political leadership in this country. Kamala Persad-Bissessar has the right mind. She's the right person.
That's right.
She needs an army around her. And I am willing to do my part to make sure she wins and is able to carry out her mandate to put this country back to being the place we used to live in, not this mad dictatorship, this failed state that these people, this man going to read a budget trying to bring sweeties. Call members, hear me say this morning. Spend the full 90 minutes of that budget telling us where our blasted money gone. That's what we want to hear. We don't want to hear the rest of your nonsense. Tell us where our money gone. You get $600 billion in the past 10 years. Where our money?
Go ahead, Mikey. I'm sure you're supposed to be all right now. Go ahead. Let's hear you.
Well, I don't know. Just let me know.
Yeah. Go ahead.
We hear you better now, Mikey.
Right.
Go ahead. Yes.
All right. I don't know if you have the corridor transformation running as well, so I don't know. Anyhow, so I think Mr. Alexander basically cleared up everything. That's what I was saying. I mean, we had a point where we simply don't want to get into tit for tat as far as Gary and Philip. We want to live better. The people of Trinidad and Tobago is saying, listen, if this is what it takes for us to move forward as one, this is what it has to be. And Philip is correct. If anybody who's out there harboring feelings or, as they say, locked in emotions or believe that their ego is bigger than what they need to be serving, then listen, really and truly, you don't understand the big picture. You haven't grasped the seriousness of the issue that's taking place in this country. Another company is gone. That means more people on the breadline, more people unemployed. You're waking up to hear the news. You're hearing that a DCP is saying, listen, the dogs of war are out because somebody in a senior member of cabinet lost a bracelet. And you're asking yourself, I have been a victim. People say they're victims of home invasions. Their family are victims of home invasions. Did they see that same will, that same energy to go out there and solve these other crimes? Hey, but this is where we are at. So, Philip, we want to thank you so much for clearing the air here once and for all.
Go ahead, Philip.
No, I was saying, where were the dogs of war when Granny get killed when they invade her house? Where were those dogs of war then? Yeah? We have convenient national security protecting the elite. We need to undo all of that. Trinidad and Tobago needs proper people in proper positions of leadership. We need a proper prime minister. We need a proper government. Kamala Persad-Bissessar. Just saying the words Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar makes you exhale, makes you feel like there is hope for this country again. Keith Rowley and his band of miscreants need to go. There is no other conversation to be had. I do not want anything for myself politically. I don't need a job. I don't need a blue light. I just drive up Saddle Road and watch these hey, boy, you're lucky on the radio. I watch them with the outriders pulling aside people so they can pass. Sit your tail down in traffic. You are the government. If they have traffic, you're responsible for it. You're supposed to fix it. You are supposed to bypass it. That is, I don't want no job, I don't want no contract, I don't want no blue lights, I don't want nothing. I just want a better Trinidad and Tobago for my children, and I think that the only sane, safe choice for that is Kamala Persad-Bissessar.
Oh boy, thank you so much, Philip Alexander, PEP leader. I must say, I am very comfortable with your response this morning. I feel you. I hope that Gary Griffith take heed, and we all have to understand the enemy is the PNM. The PNM is the enemy, and that the only vehicle at this point in time or person that we need to surround and give that strength is the Honorable Kamala Prasad Bisesa. And thought and feelings don't build voters, and we need to move forward.
True.
Yeah. It was remarkable this morning, man.
Mr. Alexander.
He was remarkable.
Thanks again.
Yes.
So we're going to open the lines.
All right, Mr. Philip. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, we know he ain't total feeling because he unblocked me, so that is very good. So that is so sure the man don't make an example already. I was blocked because I remember when he used to be hitting Kamala and thing. I will send him some kind of messages there. The man blocked me. He didn't like the pit bull. But look, the man showing leadership example. The man showing unity. The man unblocked the pit bull. And look, we get the call. Mikey, I must shake your hands for that because you and all was a part of that unity. The man unblocked the pit bull. But go ahead, Mikey. What says thou, my brother? We had to go on a little more.
Yeah.
Yes.
I do apologize for this connection this morning. I don't know, some mornings, boy, I can tell you it is not easy. No, Lennox, I was just asking if your transformation was running at the same time.
Oh, but yes, but on a different computer.
Yeah, on a different system. It's not. I've disconnected and separated both so that we can have and there's a particular way to get it online. The real media.
Before you continue, let me organize by all fairness. Let's organize and take some calls. It's up to you.
And in the meantime, I just wanted to say that Philip is not a stupid fella. And not that Gary is stupid, but he must have understood that the trade unions are now gravitating players, serious historical players, even though they may lost their, should I say, their shine as a new ball, but certainly they are gravitating. They are seeing, of course, the only people to come on board in Gross now are the religious and people of the ecclesiastic class of the country. I expect that to happen as the election draws closer, and therefore total abandonment of the PNM by significant players who would at one point in time appear to be antagonistic and the nemesis of the UNC and Kamala Prasad Bisesa, because
Hold 1 minute.
Kamala Prasad Bisesa single-handedly has shown that she is not what Rowley and they have attempted to, through their propaganda machinery, to make her out to be. And she has been constant and consistent like the Northern Star. She is immutable. And I'm sure that would have been one of the factors that would have caused Philip to do some introspection and make the pronouncement bold as he has on this program. And I can tell you, if he makes such a statement on this program, he knows that there are serious repercussions if, of course, the contrary is the case. So I don't think he would have considered this position lightly or make that position clear on a program such as this. Because he knows and he understands our reach and our ability, of course, to make things happen, especially when it is a clear case of deception. But go ahead, my friend.
Go ahead. Caller, short and sweet. What's your contribution this morning? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Tobago.
Go ahead, Tobago.
Yes, Mr. Philip, you make my day, boy. You make my day. You are a gentleman. May God bless and keep you from my day. You are a real gentleman. You make my day. I'm so pleased and thanks for everything that you have said.
Thank you very much. Next caller. Morning. Short and sweet. Only had to give you short and sweet because we had to rack up in a bit. Go ahead.
Morning, gentlemen. Barack Paul here. Gentlemen, this is exactly what is we preaching every day. The people in this country have to put aside the difference. No third party can make a difference. And the hypocrisy of people who would support a third party and say, well, me are voting for this one or me are voting for that one, but I will vote a third party. That is what we have to get rid of. Them is the problem why this country is where it is today. The betterment of the country, we have to decide that A or B and get rid of C. Have a good morning. Later.
Thank you very much. Next caller. Oh boy, all of the lines are open, eh? Oh boy.
All right, thank you. Go.
Yeah, we hearing you there. Nice. Right, so the lines are open, Trinidad and Tobago. All the lines are open. You all heard the discourse this morning. What says thou? You, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, what says thou?
We have any voicemails?
Yes.
We may well get some positions as far as voicemails is concerned. You know, some people like to be in the comfort of their home and get an opportunity to rub off and to readjust.
Yes. So let me play some voice.
Make their best presentation.
Good morning, Andy, Lennox, and Mikey. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Andy, you understand? You know, I looking at this robbery with Mr. Dialsing, and this thing looking like is a possibility that this thing could be a setup. You know, you look at the man talking on the phone, but looking like the man phone off. All you check that and see now. That's a serious possibility. You know that could be a setup. Anyway, God bless.
Nice.
And Adi, that is only so because people don't trust the government. You see, the entire body of persons who form this government. And
Go ahead,
why
Paula.
people.
Good morning, Lennox. Mikey and Andy, good morning to you guys. Now I hear the discord here with Gary, and I feel people not dealing with Gary fairly. Why I'm saying that is this.
You heard the discord with Philip. Philip is what we think this morning.
Yes, I heard the discord with Philip. And I feel I'm not dealing with Gary fairly because in all treaties it's supposed to have rules. And I would have heard the discussion with Gary. Gary is not saying that he ain't going to follow Mr. Sign. Or he ain't going to understand what Philip's saying. But what he's saying that he wants some autonomy, and that is that is normal. Look, if we had to look about when Eric Williams would have taken over the country, when it would have come from in 1954, I believe, and we'd have gained independence in 1962. There's autonomy we're looking for. That is why Tobago, now I'm jumping from topic to topic. That is the same thing Tobagonians are looking for, more autonomy in what is going on in their country. Same thing with Gary Griffith. If I am to enter a particular alliance with people, what autonomy I have as to say as to affect the rules in government. I can't just align myself with you and at the end of the day like a puppet. I can't say nothing. If something takes place, I want to be able to say, all right, I'm able to do this. If we're talking about political currency, the UNC come like a car. And Gary Griffith and people like Philip come like the accessories that we could add to it. And as I saying, I talking from a place where we see the data every single day. And by now, I say, and they should don't know that is workers' rights from point 14.
All right. Renison Jeffrey. Go ahead, Workers' Right Platform. Welcome, man.
What we see that taking place in this area here in point 14 and Labrador, winnable. But over the years, people was manipulating. You know, matter my family don't talk to me because I not supporting the bill. Well, I won't say that. The nonsense that PNM doing. Because it's a cult here. It are people going inside want to see yellow. It are people say that curriculum. That is what taking place, but it is winnable by parties like Gary Griffith and Philip. If to be fair, if Michaela come here, she could win too, you know. If the UNC come and make a well, I don't say that. Them is the bigger party. If they make an alliance and the UNC pull out and say, right, let one of these parties fight, they could win these areas. And if we had to think about it financially, it will cost nothing because it has done already lose it. Try something new. We can't continue the same way. Going on and on and on. I'm Philip Alexander. I'm a good partner. I'm in the party. But at the same time, the fighting between me and Gary has to stop. I didn't realize my comment.
a lot of people saying that, but plenty people don't have the testicular fortitude to come and say, Philip, you know, you see what you're doing there? Let me stop at that.
No, but he said that this, you didn't listen to the whole interview. That is what he technically said this morning there. He not on Gary.
Yeah, well,
he's willing for accommodation and all them thing. He's willing to meet. He also mentioned that meeting was put in place for he and Gary to meet. But the Mohes, they put it together by the home. They end up by some restaurant or place there where the whole place, the kid said the man bowed, and then Gary did not show up for that meeting. He did call and say about something about his wife and whatever, and he can't come to that meeting or something. So Philip had shown there where he willing to meet and trash out and talk and put his differences aside. That's based on what Philip Alexander just mentioned there.
Well, if we are saying if these things stop, it totally stop, we have a chance. And I also agree with Gary too. If you're entering an alliance, it should have certain, it must have a certain amount of seat at a particular. I'm not saying all. I'm not saying 100, neither 20. Let me say 5% of the seats. So Philip go with the same thing too. I mean, for the sake of time, let me make my contribution right there, Andy, Lennox, and Mikey. Right?
Thank you very much. Next caller, morning caller. Short and sweet, where you calling from?
Andy, morning. California, boy.
I will have to cut you off here in front of your radio. So long as I hear any background feed, I will cut off.
No, but I just got to slow it down. That's all I have to do.
All I have to do is
right. You hear it now? Andy, you hear it?
Yeah, we hear you. Go ahead.
Yes, yeah.
Right.
Go ahead.
Right, listen. I listened to the two debates. The one yesterday with Gary and the one today with Philip. Right? I don't know people in this country have a problem with when a man call a spade, and when he call it a fork. Right? You can't butter these things and take it with butter and cheese and you have to hit it as it is. Philip make a point, and I understand Philip, and I 100% with him. Right? The man is very conscious of what is going on in the country, and the man make a conscious decision. If Gary not so conscious, Gary need to get his consciousness up. The enemy is not Philip, the enemy is not Gary, the enemy is the present government right now. If we continue with them, we're not going to go nowhere. Right? The vehicle that we have to use is the UNC. Forget about you saying Kamala and Jolene John. This is UNC. That's the vehicle. Kamala is in charge. Right. We understand that. And people have to come to that term. Otherwise, take the next 5 years of suffering all the thing. Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Next caller. All the lines are open. Morning caller.
Hello?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, Andy, Lennox, Mikey, newbie, and to everybody out here. Andy, I must say I was very, very impressed with Philip. At least Philip seeing the donut and not the hole. You understand? He has seen the big picture of what could happen should the PNM get back there. Right? Because all who want to paint this good picture about Rowley, right? We all know Rowley's an evil man. Rowley was the one that admitted going to Lekoto to deal with Manning. And if he can do that to Manning, what is he doing to this country? What is he doing? He cannot put that genie back in the bottle. And you know what? Is we have to put that genie back in the bottle. That dangerous genie that Rowley let loose in this country. Right? And I am so happy to hear him say also that he don't want anything. He just wants good for this country. And I could understand that. As with a lot of us, Andy, we don't want anything. We just want to get Rowley out of this country because we want to live better. Hey, what is so wrong in that? Why is that Gary, and he said it, Gary and Gavin Nicholas and Hammersmith and all of them, why can't they see that? And Michaela, the PNMite, why can't they see that? But the only thing that they bent on doing is destroying the UNC by going and bringing out their parties to split the votes, because that is what they are going to do, and they are going to take away votes from the UNC, because we all know PNM votes don't move, but I don't know what is wrong with UNC people, and I'm going to keep reminding them, Michaela is an agent of the PNM, so don't let them fool all here. Thanks a lot, Andy.
Next caller, short and sweet. Where you calling from? What's your contribution? Oh boy. Go ahead, caller. Caller. Morning caller. Next caller. Morning caller. Short and sweet.
Morning again, Andy.
Yeah.
Here. Andy, you see, this is the hypocrisy I can't understand with people, you know. Philip put himself totally straightforward and say, here what? I am supporting so and so, this is the only thing. Now, all you had to ask yourself, Gary Griffith said he got 21 death threats when he was police commissioner. And he's still comfortable being all around, all over the society. Normal. Right? Normal. How much people in this country get in death threat and can't come out their house? How much people get death threat and dead? How much people get murdered in this country? You see, these are where people don't understand what's taking place in this country. With these people, they don't care about the country and the citizen. You know. They just care about power. And they know that they would not hold political office. But after the election, no matter who wins, them living normal enough. But you and I, the rest of the population, who is not in that caliber there, all you could live normal. A man just talk about a car and this and that. Yes, you might have a nice car with all the accessories in it. But if you don't have a road to drive on, what you going to do with the car? Park it up and it make cobweb in your yard? And that's what we want. We want somebody who could put the road in front of us and give us that opportunity to live better again. If Gary Griffith and them can understand that and put the dotishness aside and govern and make the right decision, and Michaela Pandey and make the right decision, at the end of the day, see who will really be suffering in Trinidad and Tobago. Have a good morning. Take care.
Thank you very much. Next caller. Morning caller. Go ahead, caller. Morning caller.
Good morning, Andy. I sent some pictures for you to take a look about concerning about the road in Princestown, New Grant, inside Daily Road. Can you take a look at it, please, once you have time?
Yes,
thank you.
Yes, I will. Oh boy, these days are all over the place in Lennox. But you know, just now, know when I reach Grandy, well then the whole place shell down, you know. You know that? When I reach Grandy, it's the whole place shell down. Rohanson and where the next one name? That one who get fat, he don't work much. Monroe, William, Roger Monroe and all that. So I roving all over Trinidad and Tobago at this point in time. I ain't reached Grandy yet. I was in Valencia the other day. But you go see something. Morning caller.
Good morning. You have a call?
Good morning, gentlemen. I didn't hear the whole interview with that guy Alexander. But you know something? He said, she said, them say, hey, we're talking about Trinidad and Tobago. It has to be fixed, you hear? We have to attack with full force. This is no game. This is no joke. And for these PLM people who mean, the ones who mean, they will do anything in their power to keep PLM there. Well, let me tell all you this. We're going to do anything in our power to remove the PLM. You hear? This is a fight that we're fighting. This is war. A war that we don't intend to lose. You hear? We dead serious. You see, well, they just come to fit, well, they can destroy everybody and everything. We come in stronger than that. You understand? And we are going to do, you know, I can't wait. I will do anything in the name of the Jesus to see the back of the PLM. But any taxes. I want them to go. PLM is a weapon of mass destruction, and they have to go. Only let me get together and make sure they go. And not only go, but all of them go into jail. Blessings, fellas.
Before you go, do you have any advice? Because Philip said that is it. Do you have any advice? Because I know you are one of the callers always advocate that despite of what you will want Gary on board. Do you have any advice for Mr. Gary Griffith based on as Philip Alexander said, put your tail between your leg, apologize to the Honorable Kamala Prasad B. Sessa, and let me get this thing running. And he's willing to to Philip himself, say he wouldn't say go as far as Pandy and say he will sleep with the devil to get rid of the PNM, but he say he will join or unite with anybody for we to get rid of his government, including Gary Griffith. And he also did mention about a meeting that was planned that Gary Griffith was supposed to be a part of between him and Gary Griffith. And I know you say I didn't get to hear all the interview. He said that meeting was planned. He said Nahus organized that meeting between him and Gary Griffith at a restaurant place or at the home or however it go. And the meeting was planned, and he said Gary Griffith did not show up, but he made a call saying that his wife told him was not to attend the meeting or something. So why he said that, what it is, I believe he's saying that because again, always have two sides of a story. He's saying that to show that look, he is willing to put all his differences aside in order for all of us to move forward, because he recognized the enemy is the PNM, and this country cannot take the next 5 years. So what advice you all have for Captain Gary Griffith, or the leader of his political entity, NTA? What advice you all have for him?
Well, what I would say, if your love for country is greater than your ego, if in your heart you really want to get rid of PNM, if in your heart you want to see my Trinidad come back to what it used to be, you hear? You would humble yourself, because everybody says, as he said, forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. This is a part of forgiveness. I would come with a donkey, a pig, I would bring bobine, and in a genuine way, clear out your heart, clear out your bitterness, clear out your ego, clear out your hate. Yesterday was yesterday. Let me stand up strong on a new ground and unite, because let me tell you this now. I cannot in my 70 plus years imagine PNM. Oh God, here now. I don't hate people because I believe God is love. But I'm telling you this morning, I hate the PNM for what they do to this country and the people of this country. You hear, Andy? So I am begging Gary and all of them, all you forget self, forget all your ego. So she said this, and yesterday was yesterday. We can forgive and forget and see the bigger picture. The bigger picture is we have to bring back our Trinidad to the way it used to be. Trinidad was love. Listen to the portrait of Trinidad. This is how my country is. Over 70 years I live in here, and this is how my country used to be. I have never seen a government in all my years destroy a country as what PLM has done. There is so much I hate, there is so much of suffering unnecessarily, and the people are doing anything, as I always like to say. But if we give a chance, let me tell you now, Kamala Prasad-Bissessana, say she weak, but let me tell you what happened to Kamala Prasad-Bissessana. She is the only politician that I know with a heart and a conscience and with love for the people and love for the country. And it is mistakes, she kindness or weakness, you understand? But she cares, she really cares. She like them who come in. Every morning they want to tax this and they want to take this and they want to take this and they want to take this and they want people to suffer. She wants people to live and live in peace. The people that don't even love themselves, she loves them. The people who don't want to live better, she wants them to live better. But I'm telling all you see me? I have my children and my grandchildren, and at my age, Lord, my bless me with more years. And I am tired. Look at yesterday and the thing. That is such an insult to the population. That is such an insult to the nation. You, the thing, what the hell is you? You're a citizen just like everybody else, but you cannot. They didn't bring out the army, and that was all yesterday. And all you want to continue with that kind of thing, all you want that kind of thing to continue, here now, man. Philip, Gary, and the rest of them, I have time with them. But all you forget all your differences. This is no time for pettiness. This is no time for bacchanal. This is no time for he said and she said and them say. What we have to do is band together, strong, be respectful. Let us work together. And oh God, all you are begging, all you are begging. And you know, begging is more, let us do everything in our power to get rid of the PNM. And all you must remember, the PNM, the ones who live nice and living better and who will do anything to keep the PLM there. Well, let me tell you, we the rest of citizens, we will do anything within the law, and we're going to fight, we're going to unite, we're going to forget all our differences, and we are going to come together to make sure we get back our Trinidad and Tobago. We need to make sure we get rid of the PLM. You hear? We don't want the morning after election for nobody to come and say, I woulda, I shoulda, I coulda. No. Trinidad has to be. It must be. You hear? Fix. You hear? You only look and see how we're going in this country. Look and see how we're going in this country. Look, all you, we're going to fix it. We're going to fix it. All you, let me get together. Forgive and forget. The past is the past. Move all the hate. One love. And the love is for Trinidad and Tobago and for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And the mission is to get rid of the weapon of mass destruction called the PNM. Bless you, Andy.
Thank you very much. Next caller, short and sweet. Morning caller.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, and where are you calling from?
Baratara here. I agree with everything that lady said. There's not another word I can say, and she was very powerful and true. And we just have to wake up, and I'm glad for that contribution just now. Have a good morning.
Thank you very much. Very, very much. Next go. Let's continue. Short and sweet caller. Next caller, where are you calling from? What's your contribution on the ground report this morning, caller? Go ahead, caller. What's your contribution on the ground report this morning?
Good morning, Andy.
Go ahead, Kenrick.
Hey, I want my little contribution, my 2 cents. I've been listening for Alexander for a long while, and I was waiting for this moment. You know what I mean? And I endorse Philip Eggleston 100%. And he have to get together. They have to get together, and and get this wicked government out of power. Right. One thing. Next point. This guy who called. I don't know who his name, but I can't remember.
Workers' rights.
He said that if Gary don't want what he wants to get, that's what I'm gathering. That's my opinion. But I'm gathering in my mind that if he don't get what he wants, that he's not going to go with her. That is not right. That's like giving them somebody something and expecting something from them. It doesn't work like that. You know? That's what I'm gathering, Andy. Okay. I might be wrong for correction.
Okay.
Right? So you were telling me that if Gary don't get what he wants, not negotiation, you're not going to side with UNC to get his government out of there? That's the main object? Nah, something wrong with this here.
All right.
All right, Gary. Thanks. All right, Andy. Think of food for thought.
Food for thought. Morning caller. Next caller. Go ahead, next caller. Morning.
Thanks. All right, Andy. Think of food for thought. Food for thought.
Right.
Morning caller. Next caller.
So along the background. Please move from in front of the gadget. Listen to us through the radio. Through the television, phone. Go ahead, Rose. Hello.
Good morning, Andy for Gandhi.
Go ahead, short and sweet. Nice. Only move from the gadget so we will need get the feedback. Go ahead.
Yes, you hear me, Andy?
Yeah, we are hearing you loud and clear.
Right. Andy, I believe good sense will prevail in the end, because there's only so much the people and the population, the right thinking people in this country can take. You just imagine him would call the 30th of September for budget day, and he done telling people already that how things could be hard. How much hardship this country will take on the people of this country? I'm talking about the right thinking people there. Because for the last 9 years of the hardship we see in here, they haven't balanced one budget, they only overspending, and mismanaging all the money. They're always calling for more, and putting the country into further debt. You're churn, how to pay for all that, and not even churn, People don't realize that, and the more they put in, the more harder it will be. We'll talk about that. When we see this important, and this PNM party have to go, and they have to go. Have a good day.
Thank you very much. Oh boy. Next caller. Oh boy, all the lines are cleared. Oh boy, it's exactly at 10 o'clock we locking off here, you all. So the lines are cleared. The numbers to call 225 6644, 225 6644, or 239 5120, 239 5120. Or give us a WhatsApp call at 366 3053, 366 3053. Go ahead,
Good
Paul.
morning, Andy. Good morning, and ground report. Hello?
Yes, we are hearing you loud and clear.
Yes, go ahead. It's a call to Gary Griffith. Gary Griffith, you're getting a nice opportunity to get back at the PNM for all the injustices that they did to you. Come and join with Kamala Boy and you'll get that opportunity. Gary Griffith, UNC and doing nothing to get you so bitter. Is the PNM will do you all them injustices and you're getting an opportunity. Opportunity knock, but once Gary Griffith. Take that old time saying, good morning, and Gary Griffith, I hear you. I only hope you hear this. Take it in, let it sinking in your soul and your spirit, brother, and in your bones. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Andy.
Thank you very much. Right, the lines are open, eh? Oh boy. All right, the lines are open.
Well, gentlemen, I am extremely gratified that this trend, and I expect it to intensify as we get the date or we go closer to the date of the elections. Good sense, as one of the callers said, must eventually prevail. People have to, of course, give up their very belligerent and should I say strenuous stance, especially when coming to the UNC. The arguments, by and large, are really figment of people's imagination, but nestled, of course, in a conversation or a genesis within the bosom of the leadership of the PNM. So when people say who you will put, I have always been, at a discombobulated state, let me use a big word, man, confused state, as to why it is a person will say that when the evidence is so clear. Now we are seeing that the people are now concerned about bread and butter issues. They are concerned about the increase in taxes and the pressures it will put on their fixed income, particularly the fixed income worker. And clearly the government being very selective and not, of course, putting pressure on what I consider to be the business class and therefore the 1%ers. They themselves, of course, having acquired, of course, wealth and influence and rubbing shoulders with players in the society that is of a senior nature, let me put it that way. And there must be, at the end of the day, people saying, listen, what Philip Alexander has said, and I find it pretty earlier because the election has not been called, but of course we know Rowley will go possibly until September next year if he has November next year if he has the conditions so to do. But the pressures, I believe, will be so overwhelming that anytime he calls it before is because he could go no further. But it is very, 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 very rewarding because we have been saying it over the last 9 years. And to see that on the penultimate year before the close of the second term of the second 5 years of this administration, people are beginning to see it. People that are of significance, whether it be the trade unions, whether it be Philip Alexander recently, and mind you, in spite of what he said yesterday, he has also recognized, talking about, of course, Gary Griffith, in spite of his apparent stand, that is more fluff than anything else as far as I'm concerned. Eventually, he will have to come to the realization that, listen, as we discussed last night on the corridor transformation, that, listen, Gary would love nothing better than to be able to rub his thumb in Rowley's face. And the only sound that can happen he must not, he cannot do it by himself. It's impossible. But you know, with Kamala Prasad-Bissessar and the UNC, he will have the opportunity. So he cannot afford to lose that. Other than that, outside of that, he will be, of course, in the wilderness. And I'm sure that he will not want to be left out. And we have seen that too many times not to be of concern. And he himself, as a student of history, will know that that's the route that the COP pass, that's the route the NAR pass, that's the route that MSJ pass, and we can go on and on in terms of where they will end up being, of course, a statistic and a has been and once was, as opposed, of course, to be current, contemporary, and making the right choice and decision. So I am very, very, very elated. Philip Alexander is just one. I'm sure that others are listening. The trade unions have already tempered their position and gravitating in the right direction. The pendulum is swinging in the right direction. The religious leaders have not yet exposed their petticoat, so to speak, but I'm sure that that will come eventually. And there's only one choice that they really have, is to, of course, gravitate towards and support and make themselves present as far as Kamala Prasad-Bissessar. Let me say, he made a very significant point, that Kamala Prasad-Bissessar continues to remain constant as the Northern Star. She has not deviated. Her position on policies and programs has been superlative. Her saying the right things, and of course being belligerent when it is required, particularly against the PNM and anybody else who would have, of course, she believed would have offended the UNC. And of course, she was able at the same time in a very consistent way to protect that which is and has created what the UNC is today. And I clearly see the recognition of the ground report and the members and all those other elements that has similarly taken a position of remaining as constant as possible. And that is why I am extremely assured and certain that when the UNC takes over government, the only difference, as I said last night, would be the volume or the extent of the victory. That's all. But to win the elections, the UNC, it is inevitable. Again, I am not naive or complacent to believe that it is without hard work, because, of course, the PNM will not make it easy. But it becomes easier and easier ultimately when all would have recognized that the common albatross denominator is that of the PNM, Dr. Rowley, and his opportunistic political parasite who has morphed the PNM into a criminal enterprise.
Nice. The lines are open. We just have about 10 minutes again.
10 minutes again, people.
Yes, you have about 10 minutes again or so.
And I think one flaw yesterday, if I may, and of course that is self-criticism, that we really didn't ask too much of Gary Griffith as to his position with respect to Philip Alexander. My recollection does not direct me that we did in fact.
Well, it's the ground report. It's a ground report, and if we have to eventually do that again, we're going to do it, because we will know early who playing games, who ain't playing games.
We have on record now Philip Alexander's position with respect to him. But we really didn't get out of him, talking about Gary Griffith here, his position on Philip Alexander. And we have been hearing, of course, through the grapevine. We don't want that again. We want to be as specific as possible. The specificity and the positioning must be extremely clear, so we know clearly who are the enemies, who are in between, who are on the fence, and who clearly we cannot work with at the end of the day, but as we move inexorably towards, of course, this inevitable victory for the UNC and the reinstallment of Kamala Prasad-Bissessar as the Prime Minister in this country. We know we have the task of making certain, and it is inevitable that Rowley will try to find ways and means to thief the elections. Even those options will be, as he moves closer and closer to November next year, those options will be getting smaller, more minuscule, and more difficult for him to implement, as the people as a whole will commonly decide that they must go out there and do their civic duty in order to make certain that this albatross no longer subsists in the context of the politics and the decision making in Trinidad and Tobago as an entity. It is a criminal enterprise. The PNM I'm talking about.
Nice. Well, you know, as we partner Mike, our host Mikey drop out, so that's why I just only seen the upper half of you, just the upper half.
Yeah, I realizing that in the back of you because I'm there. We have Pauline, of course.
But when I do this, you see again, the whole of you will just won't get me. Because if you're watching now, you've seen it. Nice.
Yeah,
so that's nothing, man. We will work out things until by tomorrow he's supposed to rectify his problem. I don't believe his problem on that side is internet.
Okay.
I want to believe that. Nice. Yeah. Trinidad Tobago, it's
a wonderful program.
Yes.
A wonderful program, I must say. And the other issue, of course, pertaining to Gary, not only has he recognized that he must gravitate and he must now find a way to reconcile
get back
himself first and foremost. Yeah, and then, of course, make the overtures that is now required. Because let's face it, the UNC is the monolithic. The UNC is the giant. The UNC is the linchpin to all of it, and has been so over the years when these kinds of situations develop. The Gary Griffith has boxed himself into a position where it is very difficult for him to enter where the air is rare, if you want to call that, or where it is prolific, depending on your perspective. Enter without, of course, taking a blow to his own credibility and his own ego. But that is the price he will have to pay in order, of course, to be on board.
It is what it is.
I think he had the last chance yesterday to reconcile, and he did not do a good job of it. So I'm sure that he would have been advised, he would have been sleeping on it, he would have been ideating, he would have been contemplating, and therefore must find ways and means. It has happened before. Kamala Prasad Bisesa and Pandey. We had, of course, Ramesh Miraj and Pandey, and so on and so forth over the years. And at the end
but
of it
she's
all,
a forgiving
course,
person. She's a forgiving person because it had she and Mr. Warner. I say she's a forgiving person because it had she and Mr. Warner too. So you see where at the end of the day, even if people tend to go that harsh or how they go, you see that Kamala Prasad Bisesa is a leader that are willing to put all egos and differences aside for the betterment of Trinidad and Tobago. But in saying, go ahead.
Yeah. But of course, that will not stop Rowley and them from, of course, making little song bites and so on of all of that as part of their campaign. Our job, of course, is to neutralize that and to say to Rowley, for example, why are you poaching has-been UNC rejects? Why have you been poaching? So they have boxed themselves into a position where not even the ability to steal the election is a viable and relevant option for them. They have to come pure. They don't have the luxury of shifting the goalposts as we reach closer and closer to the constitutional end of their term. So they are in a vice grip of a inelastic nature, let me put it that way, because it's clear that Rowley will box himself into a situation where he will have no choice. The date for election must be upon him, and therefore all hell break loose. What I will expect then is that people from within the bosom of the PNM to start, of course, to abandon that and say, listen, Rowley is the fly, he is the cockroach in the ointment, and let me get out of this, yes, because I have a career still to pursue after Rowley. Rowley, of course, has reached the end of his career, and of course, both biologically and chronologically and politically. So people are going to start jumping off that sinking ship, if you want to call it that, as we move closer and closer, and the options close into him, and he cannot, and there are very little that he could do, because the people would have seen sufficient to say that he is poison, he is toxic, he has weaponized government against the people, and therefore is not good political fodder. And of course, within the PNM and outside of the PNM, that is what Rowley is destined for.
Nice. Trinidad Tobago, time check. It's at 3 minutes to the hour of 10 o'clock. Thanks so much for looking onto the ground report. Don't forget the night corridor transformation. Yours truly, Lennox Smith, from 8 o'clock. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Until tomorrow morning, please God, don't forget to lock on early. Well, we just have a little two-turn problems, but that will be dealt with. Remember, we move from one thing to the next. It's live TV, so from radio to TV. Watch that as a promotion, people. Right? And then everybody have to be out there doing their do. So thanks again to each and every one of you. Don't forget to follow, like. And let's get everyone else on board with us with the #1 program in Trinidad and Tobago, The Ground Report. With yours truly, the pitbull of radio, Lennox Smith, Michael Kerr. So on behalf of the Ground Report team, until tomorrow morning, please God, 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, please God, we are out of here.
And Lennox Smith.
Bang, 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 bang.